All right.
All right, how is it going, everybody that is going to watch this later on YouTube and everybody that is live now on Twitch? How is it going? Today we are going to be looking at the draft analysis, the full draft analysis for the Castelia Battle Network. And I just realized I did not set up the screen share for you. So I am sorry about that, and we're going to do that real quick. So yeah, where is it? There it is. All right, beautiful.
There
so you should be able to see the screen share. There we go.
That's better.
Beautiful. So you can actually freaking not be delayed like everybody else on the stream is going to be delayed, but that's okay. We're cool. Yeah. We're in there. We're in there. So we got I got a little bit of tunes going on in the back. And all that fun stuff. I don't think Nick can hear it, but that's okay. So
no, that's fine.
Oh yeah. So all right. So anyway, this is hey, how's it going, Prodigy? Thank you so much for that follow, and all that fun stuff. That follower alert looks good enough. So yeah. So today we are going to be going over all the picks. We have 120 picks. We did have 12 members for this draft. It was a very fun draft. I think it went very smoothly. Initially, I always set aside a week for the draft, and we finished in 3 days or something like that. Hey, thanks for the follow.
No, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
We finished it before the draft was even supposed to start in the first place.
I think we did. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, so pretty much we had a lot of people that were new to the site and everything as well, and shout outs to all of you guys for getting all your information in on time into auto and everything. It was just such a smooth process, and I appreciate every single one of you for that. So, but anyway, enough about all the talking. Are we ready to get into this draft analysis? Nick,
let's get this started.
Let's do this. All right, so the first pick of the draft went to M-Man and his Detroit Duwaks, and he picked up the S-tier Mew for the first pick of the draft. So yeah, that should be awesome.
It's not often that I don't disagree with the first pick of a draft. This is actually probably one of the best mods in the tier, and we're gonna see a lot of good things come out of this. So
yeah. Mew is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, because we are playing with non-Galar Mark, opens up Mew's move pool even more than it already is, which is absolutely insane. So we actually just found out today that apparently Mew gets fake out, which is just insane. It's something we didn't know already, which is pretty crazy. And yeah, it learns it from XD or something like that. So just obscure stuff like that, and it just can go crazy because Mew is absolutely insane. This move pool is just monstrous, and with all the new TRs with Sword and Shield, it just got even better. So yeah.
It already had the deepest move pool in Pokemon to begin with, and it just got even better. So
yeah, fantastic.
It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something to prep for. That's for sure.
For sure. It's I never really like Mew in draft. I think Mew is at least in singles, I think it's kind of like an unfair Pokemon in draft because it is literally impossible to prep for. But yeah. I feel in VGC it's not that bad, and I really wanted to only ban the problematic mons in the draft format for this, and I think we did that, and so I don't really see Mew as a problematic mon. But yeah, pretty cool Pokemon. Great first pick overall of the draft. Amazing pick for M-Man there. Yeah. Anything else you got to say?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Oh, pretty good. So, all right, next pick of the pack draft, pick number 2, we have SV Tornado and her Sakura Sylveon's picking up Genesect, another mythical going in round 2. What do you got to think about this?
I'm not surprised at all. It's a good mod to begin with, and I think with it being able to have access to its full move pool from previous gens, I think it's really going to be something to have to prep for. It's another one of those picks that I'm not surprised to see go out right at the start.
Yeah, fantastic. It learns things through events the biggest ones being Extreme Speed, which is awesome for it. Download is amazing. You know, giving it an instant +1 into its attack or special attack, depending on what you bring it in on. Just a fantastic Pokemon, and I'm super interested in to see what it can do in a draft style like this. So, yeah, this is, of course, her S tier. It's not as offensive or as, you know, like utility-wise as some other S tiers, but I think it is amazing. You know, okay, Shift Gear, that's another great one. Yeah, fantastic Pokemon, and I think it's going to be really fun to use. It gets, like, you know, lots of gimmicks with, like, its event moves and like Ally Switch and stuff like that. So just a massive move pool. Not as big as Mew, but, you know, it got what it needs to you know, do to work. So yeah, fantastic Mon. So anything else you guys say about that one?
Nope, I'm good.
Pretty good. So next up, we have Bucks and his Bronx Blastoise picking up the S tier Tapu Fini. Absolutely amazing freaking Pokemon. I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination to say that freaking Tapu Fini is among probably like the top 5 or 10 VGC Pokemon in just this format alone. Let alone not even including mythicals. Like, it's just such a good Pokemon, and you know, offensive, it can be defensive, it can be bulky, it can be support. Fantastic Pokemon. So yeah, what do you think?
I don't think there's much more to say about this Mon. It's so good. It's at it's near, I'm trying to find it right now on Pikalytics. It's number 25 on Battle Stadium doubles to begin with, and like, without Dynamax, like, this thing is going to be absolutely crazy, because whenever I see it in VGC ladder to begin with, I don't see Fini maxing a lot of the time. It doesn't honestly need it a lot of the time. It's one of those threats that just comes out in the field and just does its thing without needing a whole lot of support to begin with, and I'm not looking forward to facing it, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Swagger plus Misty Terrain, definitely dumb for sure. Fantastic support move pool, fantastic offensive move pool. It doesn't have the best coverage in the world, but, you know, it's a bulky water type that can just run support. It can run offense, it can run defense. Like, a lot of good new move pool changes. Like, the addition of stored power was fantastic for it, and, you know, Draining Kiss to get a little bit of recovery as well. Just overall amazing Pokemon, and I think that's pretty much all we really have to say about it.
Yeah.
All right, next up for pick number 4, we have Jay Nelson and his Jamestown Holla Hypnos. Shoutouts to that logo. I made that. I think that's one of my favorite ones I made. It's freaking cool. And he picked up Reggie Alecki. What do you think?
This is another one that I really agree with. Reggie, I feel like people are downplaying it, but Reggie Alecki, I think, is probably one of the best Mons around for singles or doubles draft. I'm just going to be honest. Doubles especially, because it's one of the best screen setters in the game. It's still got a lot of offensive potential. It's got a lot of support potential. It's just one of those Mons that can do just a little bit of everything, and it does that little bit of everything really well while still being the first thing to move on the field in just about every game you're going to play.
Yeah, for sure. Like, in singles, it is a little nerfed because, of course, you are in a single environment. There's only one Mon on the field, so a ground type just comes in and just shuts you down. However, in VGC, in a doubles format, not often, if at all, you're ever going to get, you know, 2 electric immunities on the field at the same time. So it's at least going to be able to do something. You know, a basic speed control, like you said, screen support. It's the fastest thing on the field. It is, you know, outside of, like, really fast Scarfers, this thing is always going to be going first, and like, that is just fantastic for it. And I really like Reggie Alecki in a draft format, especially in a doubles draft format, because you can actually take away some of that speed if you know it's unnecessary, and you can just slap it into bulk. And like, this thing is actually kind of surprisingly bulky. I think it has like, what, 80 base defenses or something like that. Like, it's not
bad.
Amazing, but like, you know, it can take a couple hits, and you know, especially with screens and stuff like that, you know, maybe you can get away with not running Focus Sash, which is like kind of like the standard item on Reggie Alecki in normal. But yeah, I think it's fantastic.
You see a lot of Light Clay. You see a lot of Light Clay on Reggie Alecki instead of VGC. You see a lot of Magnet too. So it's a weird split between Light Clay and screens, or you still have those screens, but instead of investing in HP, you're going to throw some into special attack. I've even seen Specs Reggie Alecki. This thing is a force to be reckoned with for sure. And on top of that, only 2 teams in the tier have a lightning rod mon right now. So this mon is not going to have a lot to be scared of most of the time inside of most of its matchups. So I expect to see a lot out of it this season.
Yeah, fantastic pick. We know Nick, the Reggie Lord himself, definitely liking this pick, and I like it as well. I think it's a very good pick up here at the 4th slot. All right, next up we have Zeraora coming in from MTB and Strawman Star Raptors. Fantastic, amazing Pokemon. Another mythical. This was one that we were kind of on the fence about if it was going to be A tier or S tier. We did end up deciding to keep it in A tier as a nice value, and I think he has an amazing value here with Zeraora. So very similar to Regieleki, it is incredibly fast Pokemon. A lot of the times it's going to be going first. It has the fastest fake out pretty much in the draft right now, which is amazing. Volt Absorb gives it a great immunity. Plasma Fists stops any electric moves coming out at it. Like, it's just a good little Gloomon. And even despite its frailty, like typically when you think of Gloomons, like you think, maybe they have a little bit of bulk, but Zeraora just can do a lot despite its frailty, and getting a couple new moveset additions as well. Just good Pokemon. What else do you think?
I think it's a pretty well-rounded mon. I'm not sure how I feel about it as a pick. It's not my favorite pick. It's not probably what I would have taken early on. But, it's got good offensive potential. It's stupidly fast. It's got some really interesting things that I can do support-wise. I expect to see it running Sash a lot of the time. Sash wouldn't surprise me at all. It also has coaching. Endeavor, if they want to do some sort of weird focus Sash Endeavor stuff. But, I'm interested to see how he does, how this ends up working out. I'm really not sure. As I said, this is not one of my favorite picks, but, it's going to still do a lot of work. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
very good value though in that A tier. We can't deny that for sure. And yes, absolutely,
sure.
You're right. Because you don't because you don't have to run as much speed. Usually, you can invest in some bulk, which is good, for sure. All right, next up we have the mascot pick in Zoroark. This man always picks Zoroark round 1 without fail, and you know what? You can't hate on him for that. What do you think, Nick?
You know what? In VGC, I can't hate on it because I faced it this week, so I've been looking into it. And unlike in singles where you have that lovely little side of singles, you get to see what your opponents what their selections are in terms of their move slot order, so you have an idea of what that Zoroark's going to be. And the way that this works inside of VGC is that it will transform into whatever the last mon you selected from your screen is. So as a VGC player, you honestly have no idea going into game 1 what this Zoroark could be, or any games really. You have no idea what it's going to look like because it depends on what order they select their mons in. So it's something that's very, very scary to have to face straight up. I think he got a lot of, outside of it being his everyday mascot pick, this thing is going to be a very scary mon to have to deal with and prep for throughout the league. So I'm very, very excited to see how this goes.
For sure. A well-played Zoroark is one of the most dangerous mons in any format, really. And he's used it in literally every draft league that he's gotten, because he picks up a B or a mid-tier mon in round 1. Nobody's gonna snipe that from him, and you can't hate on him for that. And he always seems to find good mons to pair it with and good mons to disguise it as. He's one of the better Zoroark users that I've seen, and like you said, I'm interested in see how well he does with it in this format. Pretty cool. So, all right, next up though we have pick number 7, the biggest snipe for me personally, just stabbed me right in the heart and twisted the knife. A-tier Zygarde going to Camel and his Sunbury Stunfisk. Just talk about it. Tell me why I liked this Pokemon and why I wanted it so much.
I honestly think this might be... Does it get Power Construct too? Does it get to use that?
No, it can only use Aura Break. So it can't use Power Construct, but it can only use Aura Break. But still.
Let's be honest. This might be my favorite pick, my favorite round 1 pick, period. Zygarde is just so good. I just don't know what else to say about it. Even better than singles, its 1,000 waves and 1,000 arrows are going to be hitting both mons on the opposing side of the field. It's just such... No, I don't have anything else to say about it. This thing is going to wreck house. We're going to see it on the kill leaderboards,
So
I think, every
good.
week for the rest of the season.
Oh, so good. This like mon is like one of those mons that like was like, okay, this is the gimmick of my league. We're running mythicals and we're running mons that normally won't get like the spotlight. I mean, Zygarde does get some spotlight in normal VGC play, but it's always the power construct. So, but yo, dang man, this mon is just insane. It's so good, and like, you know, it's so bulky. It, you know, 1,000 arrows and even 1,000 waves if he wants to go that route. Like, ugh. This snipe really hurt. I really wanted to use Zygarde, and it was so close to my pick too. And what you gonna do, right? So,
yeah. The one weakness has going for it. We'll have to see what else he picks. But if he can shore up that ice weakness and have good things to pair it with, it's going to be a very hard mon to deal with on the field.
For sure. All right, next up, we got pick number 8 with JK and his route to Rattata, snagging up Whimsicott, one of the best freaking support Pokemon in the game. Yes, it was an S tier, and it is an S tier worthy Pokemon. This thing is just insane in its move pool. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, SV Tornado. But yeah, Whimsicott, fantastic Pokemon. It just, you know, got Tailwind. It can go for Charm, Fake Tears, like you name a support move, this mod probably gets it. And, you know, it can even have like a little bit of speed control with potentially like Stun Spore. It doesn't have Grass Whistle anymore because that move was completely cut from the game, but I mean, it was Grass Whistle, so like whatever. And surprisingly enough, it can actually go on the offensive. I mean, it does get Infiltrator, which is a good ability if it wants to not deal with screens or anything like that, which is cool. And it's surprisingly strong if you do want to you know, run a more offensive set with it. But you know what, that is a fair point. S tier Whimsicott,
yep, that's a very fair point.
Cottony in F tier, fair point. But I mean, I think he's still gonna do some great things with it, and he has a lot of other options to, you know, to pair it with. But yeah, just let me know anything else you can think about it.
It's a good value pick. There's nothing else to be said about it. It's definitely a very specific S tier pick. I think that there are probably better ways you can get this type of support on your team, but at the same time, it's still, you have some of the best prankster support moves in the game, and in draft, having that versatility is so very important. So we're going to be seeing, it's going to be especially important for speed control. Charm is fantastic. It gets taunts. You're going to be avoiding Trick Room with it. It's a good mon. There's no understating it. He has a lot of things he can do with it, and we're just gonna have to see where else this goes.
Yeah, and yeah, I kind of have to agree with JK here. They're like, yes, it is a very specific top tier, but the thing that it has over Cottony is it can do more than just support, and I agree with that. If that's what he wanted to serve the role in his team, I 100% agree with that. So, all right, next up, hey, it's me, Diancie, for tick number 9, going to the Charlotte Chandelures in A tier. What do you think about Diancie, Nick? Let me know.
This is a really good A tier pick. Diancie is probably one of the bulkiest mons in the game, and I think it's especially good inside of VGC because the what's it called? Diamond Storm? Is that the move? Diamond Storm has a 50% chance to rage your defense by 2 stages, and it hits both mons on the field, so it can proc that twice, and it gets body press. So in one turn, it could become a very, very threatening with both Fairy, Rock, and Bot and Fighting type moves. So it's just it's going to be one of those mons that's very hard to get rid of in the early game, and it's one of those mons that also is extremely threatening. So I'm honestly not sure how we're going to prep for it. Like, I'm trying to imagine ways to prep for it. I'll have a rain team, so like my team's probably going to fare okay, like,
yeah,
for the most part, but like still, it's not an easy mon to deal with.
Yeah, decent Trick Room setter as well. I mean, it's pretty slow, so I mean, it can abuse that Trick Room fairly well as well. So, I have to pair it with some other Pokemon, but I think Diancie's fantastic. I think it's a good mon. You know, after he dropped Zygarde or got Zygarde, I was just like, well, I still want to have something that, you know, only I could only really use in this league, and I was looking at A tier, and I was like, yeah, why not? Let's try out Diancie. I've always been curious how Diancie would function in like a doubles/VGC style of format, and why not? You know, it's a great Pokemon. It looks cool. Diamond Storm is a beautiful animation, so you know I get them thumbnails. And yeah, it's just I was just curious. I was curious more than anything, but I think it'll be a good Pokemon nonetheless. For me. But yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Southside Braves and his Nashville Nidokings snagging up S tier Incineroar, probably the premier best you know, just amazing freaking Intimidate Mon. Gets Fake Out. You know, Parting Shot was a great addition to its move pool this generation. It's just an amazing Gloomon, and you know, there's really not much else you need to say about Incineroar. If you know anything about, you know, VGC style of play, you know about Incineroar. This thing is amazing, and you know, it's been amazing ever since it got Intimidate. You know, fun fact, the regional that I went to that it first got Intimidate was actually Charlotte Regionals. So I was there for that regional when Incineroar got out onto the field, which was pretty fun because I didn't compete in VGC for that regional, but you know, I watched it throughout the whole day, and like, I swear to God, every time I looked up on the freaking stream setup, there was a freaking Incineroar there, and you know what, for good reason. So you know, anything else you want to say about freaking Incineroar here, Nick?
Incineroar is probably one of the most hated, especially in earlier formats. It is still one of the most hated mons in VGC, and for very good reason. Yeah, it's a Gloomon. It holds everything together. It's the perfect type of support you need. It's got a little bit of offense where it needs it, but really it's just a very annoying mon to deal with, and you're going to see a cycle in and out constantly when this is played.
Yeah, for sure. It's a fantastic Pokemon. Yeah, not really much else to say about it. If you know about VGC, you know about Incineroar. All right, next up we have Kyurem Black. Probably one of the more contentious decisions that we decided to go with, keeping it in the S tier, going to Jesse and his Ann Arbor Selgors. Tell us about Kyurem Black, Nick.
I'll be honest, I don't know much about it. I didn't look into it that much besides voting for, hey, I think it's okay. I'm not sure why I did that in hindsight. It's just scary.
Yeah.
It's a scary mon. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, so Kyurem Black, obviously, amazingly strong freaking physical attacker, 180 base physical attack, which is insane. However, it does still have a very respectable special attack as well, so it can still dip into that amazing special move pool that Kyurem gets. Yeah, this mon is just gonna hit so damn hard. It's just going to just do whatever. If you don't have an Intimidator on your team, it's gonna be just so bad. It's so freaking crazy. So yeah, and even if you do have an Intimidator, it's still just gonna hit so freaking hard, which is just crazy. So yeah, Kyurem Black, I maybe it'll be banned next season, but you know what? He has it now, and we'll see. So yeah, let's freaking go. Kyurem Black, freaking amazing Pokemon. All right, last pick for round number 1. So like these A and these S tiers, we're kind of delving into a little bit more because, you know, they are a little bit more, you know, focused on the team. But you know, when we start getting into, you know, further picks, like we will speed up our process of talking about mons. But you picked up Cobalion. Also, if you guys do see an asterisk next to a pick number, that means that was a transaction or a free agent transaction or a trade. I just wanted to let you guys know that. So yeah, but you know, Cobalion, what you picking? What you thinking?
It's an interesting mon pick. I'm trying to remember what I had to begin with from. Well, actually, no. I made a weird set of transactions, so it's hard to tell. The main reason I picked Cobalion is because I have a mon coming up that you're about to see probably in another minute or two. That pairs very nicely with it. Cobalion's, on the speed side, it's pretty decent. It kind of lacks some of that spread move that I'd like. but it's still a fairly threatening offensive mon with just enough coverage to make it useful. I'm honestly not sure I'm going to stick around with it for very much longer, but I think with the A tiers that I had left available to me around those transactions for what I needed for this team, Cobalion kind of fit the bill.
Yeah, so you originally you had Gothitelle and you swapped it for Cobalion, and you had Lucario and you swapped it for Sableye. So that's what was up with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, good pick. We're going to just go right into your next pick because of course you were the wheel. Actually, it was the following pick, but that's fine. We will see why he has Cobalion in the future, and we'll talk a little bit more about that synergy when we get there. But pick 13, he has the rain. I think this is our first weather.
I have the rain.
I think that was our first weather. So
this is the first weather pick. It was the first time I've actually done rain in draft, so I'm really excited to do it. My original picks were Politoed and Gothitelle, which is going to be a lot of fun because Gothitelle can trap and Politoed gets that wonderful move called Perish Song.
Ooh, that's
so that was the original. That was the original justification for picking that because I knew I wanted to go rain. I was trying to figure out what kind of mon I could pair with, and I don't know. Gothitelle seems like kind of fun. Trapping in VGC is not as broken as in singles, but it's still really good. And Gothitelle was good in its own right, but Politoed is as well. And when you look at other range setters, you have Politoed and Pelipper, and I feel like Politoed is by quite a bit the better mon for VGC. I think Pelipper gets Tailwind, which is definitely better support, but I'm running Rain. I'm going to run running Swift Swim anyway, so the speed support isn't as important as being able to kind of stand on its own in this case, and Politoed has the tools to stand on its own. It can be annoying if I'm willing to risk Hypnosis. It's got the good old Scald. Perish Song is a fantastic endgame win condition if you can push ahead early. So.
Yep, for sure. As the weather connoisseur myself, I do agree with that sentiment. Politoed in a doubles format, I think, is just far better suited than Pelipper, which is just nice. It just has a lot of great tools. So yeah, great freaking pickup, and I respect the weather. All right, next up, going back up, we have Jesse grabbing Clefairy. I think this was part of like a whole trade system that him and Camel did. That's why he has an asterisk there. But yeah, Clefairy, it's got a great, great support move pool. Follow me, Friend Guard, which is amazing. So that's gonna make the already very hard to kill freaking Kyurem even harder to kill. Yeah, this is not really much else to say about this. If you know about VGC, you know about Clefairy, you know how annoying it can be. So, yay. So, what do you think?
Everyone loves Friend Guard.
Gotta love it.
Everyone loves Friend Guard.
All right. Next up, we have Kartana going to Braves, and for his A tier pick. And wow, we got some offense right off the bat. What do you think about this?
Kartana is probably my favorite glass cannon in the game. I love it. Its coverage options are absolutely fantastic. It's got just the right stats to play between with its Beast Boost. You can do a lot of really cool things with that. I've even seen defensive Kartana come out with Beast Boost, which actually swept a game last season in the singles. Which was absolutely
That was
which
crazy.
Is probably my favorite game of the year. Kartana's so scary.
So good.
If you pair with the right support, especially if they can pick up a Follow Me user or a Rage Powder user, Kartana is going to absolutely go to town, and there's no stopping it.
Fantastic Pokemon. All right, next up, hey, we have me, and I am...
Speaking of Follow Me.
Speaking of Follow Me, we have Indeedee Female. So the Indeedees were split up. So Indeedee Female is in S tier because of her amazing support move pool. Getting Follow Me, getting things like Heal Pulse, Helping Hand, stuff like that. And of course, Psychic Surge is amazing. So yeah, fantastic Pokemon. Yes, she is shiny. Yes, I'm the only one that gets shiny Pokemon on their slides because I made them. So yeah, anything else you want to say about Indeedee? I mean, there's not really a lot to say. It's a good mon.
There's not. It's a good mon. It's got good support. Setting up Psychic Train is always very useful, ignoring the Fake Out, the other really useful priority moves that are going around in VGC. Plus, of course, its own expanding forces are definitely going to be really scary, so we'll have to see. It's a good S tier pick.
Yeah, not bad. All right, next up, hey, look at that, it's another Indeedee. So we got JK picking up the male Indeedee for his A tier, and so he has terrain support as well. Already looking like a pretty good start here support-wise with Whimsicott and Indeedee. Indeedee Male doesn't have Follow Me or a lot of the supporting move pools, but it's a little bit faster and it's a lot stronger actually. So not bad. What do you think?
This is definitely, it's a good pick. There's no denying it. It's definitely the more offensive of the two, and if he can pick up other mons that are also going to be using, I feel like if you're going to pick him in Indeedee Male at A tier, I feel like you're definitely going to see something else come along that's also going to be able to use that expanding force. But it's just, Indeedee's just a very scary mon in its own right, and you're going to see that a lot more with this Indeedee than you're going to see with your own Indeedee. So I'm excited to see what happens.
For sure. All right, next up we have the B tier Aromatisse. This, I believe, was a free agent transaction or something like that. B tier Aromatisse, gets Trick Room, gets all kinds of other goofy nonsense. Aroma Veil, which is great because it means it can't be taunted. It's just a fat, bulky little fairy that can set up Trick Room and do crazy things. What else do you think?
No, I think you about summed it up. It's going to be a really good Trick Room setter. It's got decent support. It's a little on the slow side for the type of support that it wants to give. Once again, if you set up Trick Room, then what's the matter? It's an interesting mon. It's one that I definitely haven't seen much of inside of VGC, for sure. So it's definitely one of those mons that I feel like is one of the best picks that you can take at a good value inside of normal singles draft. So I'm excited to see what he decides to do with it here.
Cool. So next up we have Knight picking up Gyarados. Let us know about Gyarados, Nick.
Gyarados' act is probably one of my favorite VGC mons of all time, period, because especially going into team preview, you have a horrible little game you have to play between. Are you running Intimidate or are you running Moxie? And how you play that game changes dramatically based on it. Gyarados gets nerfed quite a bit going away from the VGC format because now it doesn't have access to that really good flying support that it really, really wants to have to face off against other mons that it has to deal with. And one of the things that we're definitely have to see if Knight picks up is, does he pick up something to deal with lightning type moves? Because Gyarados becomes extremely hindered by that. Because Water Flying is a great typing defensively with the exception of electric moves. But Gyarados is an extremely scary mon with a very high attack stat that can play a mixed role of support if it needs to, but it can also become a very, very scary sweeper very fast.
Yeah, for sure. Keep in mind, we don't allow Dynamax in this league, so that's what he's referring to. Gyarados under a Dynamax metagame is just insane. It gets max airstream, a very strong stab max airstream, so not having access to that, it's going to be a little bit more limited on its offensive side, but, still amazing Pokemon. All right, next up, oh my god, Rillaboom! The big man himself. This Pokemon is freaking insane. Absolutely insane. What is Rillaboom sitting at? He's got to be in the top 10, right?
Let me
Without a doubt.
Least, let me take a look. Sitting at number 5 with Battle Stadium. If we go to VGC, it's still sitting up at number, I think that's 7 or 8 right now.
Jesus.
Which is crazy because it's been sitting there until whenever they did, before Crown Tundra released it, I think it was sitting at number 1 for a long time. It's just such a useful mon. Grassy Terrain is absolutely amazing. That's a super strong stab move. It gets knockoff, which is really, really good in VGC, and it's a move that not a lot of mons really have access to, at least before Crown Tundra release, although I don't think that's changed much. You only see a couple different sets coming out of it, but honestly, Grassy Terrain on draft is just super good, and it makes that Zeraora pick look a lot better, because I think they cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. And honestly, something like Grassy Zeraora is not a bad thing because it really appreciates that boost. And if that Zeraora can survive another turn, all of a sudden that offense that it already has is looking a lot scarier.
For sure. Rillaboom is just an amazing glue. Fake out support, priority, terrain support. This mon just does everything. And, it's S tier for a damn good reason. Mr. Fear himself. Let's freaking go. There's not much else to say about big old Boomer boy. Let's move on. All right, so dipping into C tier for Butterfree for the Jamestown Holohypnos. Cool, I guess. A little early for Butterfree, but it's cute. It gets Tailwind, Rage Powder.
I don't think so at all.
I guess. It's fair. It's fair.
I like dropping down there because having that having Sleep, because what, it gets Compound Ice Sleep Powder. is really good. And access to sleeping VGC is probably one of the best things. I think this is probably one of the highest value C tiers you could pick. So I can definitely respect dropping down to C tier on that second pick.
Yeah.
To pick it up. It's just a fantastic support mon. I think he'll bring it probably to most matchups that he has this season. You're not going to see it function much offensively, but it doesn't need it. Oh, don't forget it gets Rage Powder.
Yep.
That's a C tier redirector, and a good one at that, with a lot of other utility options. So we're going to have to see how this plays out, but it's a good pick.
Yeah, good. It's a good mon for the value for sure. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, next up we have the A tier Arcanine going to the Bronx Blastoise. Great Intimidator. So I mean, it's basically just a budget Incineroar. It gets Teleport. So it doesn't have Parting Shot, but at least it does still get Momentum, which is great. Just a good bulky fire type. Great support for the whole team, and just fantastic mon. What do you think?
A little bit less. You don't see it used as much as Incineroar for sure in normal VGC, but once again, this is a tier lower, and as an Intimidate user, I think it's one of the best in the game, and it's so scary to deal with too, because you can actually run some physical or special offense on Arcanine, and it's still very scary to deal with, especially if for some reason you end up building a Sun Core out of this, because that's where a lot of times I see Arcanine inside of VGC at, is underneath Sunny Day. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this ends up working out for him.
Yeah, for sure. This looks like a good pick. All right, next up we have the Sakura Sylveons picking up A tier Naganadel. This is going to be another interesting. She's got back-to-back, isn't Naganadel? I guess legendary. Let's just say legendaries, whatever. Yeah, interesting. Tell me a little bit about Naganadel. What do you think?
Oh, wow, that is a lot faster than I thought it was.
Yeah.
121 base speed, so it's actually...
Oh, I think he cut out a little bit. Nick, you still there? Oh, well, okay, well, Nick cut out a little bit, but we'll oh, he's back.
Sorry.
He's back, sorry.
Sorry, kind of probably really bad now. My iPad cut out completely on bout. I forgot to plug it up, so I'll go back out whenever it gets back up again.
Okay.
But, anyways, whatever I was saying there, this thing can sweep.
Yep.
This thing can sweep. It's a little bit on the frail side, but not enough that it's not going to be a problem. And it doesn't even need a lot of support to get going. Its only really big thing is that its typing is really not all that great, but it's still going to break through a lot of the defensive fairies that I think we're going to see throughout the league. And it's got a good move pool, and it's got really good spread moves too. Sludge Wave is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
As a move, it gets Sludge Wave, it gets Heat Wave. It's a scary mon to deal with.
Yeah,
it's gonna see a lot of use.
Yeah, it's an Ultra Beast, so it can definitely snowball really fast. And Naganadel is one of those ones that you can go either speed or special attack, depending on your matchup, what you want it to do, which is really cool. So if she gets like some other speed control on the team, because I know Naganadel does get Tailwind on its own, but she can get other speed control. Looks fantastic. Pick up here. I'm definitely interested to see what this thing can do in VGC style. All right, so next up we have Excadrill going for A tier to the Detroit Delots. I wonder what he has in mind. I don't know. So, yeah.
I don't know. You don't ever see Excadrill, do you? I've never heard of it before.
Never. You never see Excadrill, especially paired with his next pick, which of course is the Gigalith. So he's got Gigadrill. Great pairing. I mean, what else can you say about that? Freaking in draft, I think that this is the best weather core that you could probably get together, because Gigalith just actually does very well paired with Excadrill. It gets gravity. It's just a nice bulky weather setter, and it could just do a lot. It gets wide guard, so it can block like the heat waves and the earthquakes coming your way, which is just great. Like, just amazing freaking pairing right here. Excadrill. We always root for Excadrill. We want a freaking league with an Excadrill of our own, so we always root for the Excadrill. However, it is M-Man, so I don't know about that sometimes. So
we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
But
this is probably 3 picks in, and this is probably one of the scariest teams to deal with already. So
for sure. Yeah, he has the insane versatility in Mew, and now the insane versatility and offensive pressure of Excadrill Gigalith. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, next up, B-tier Clefable, finishing off her fantasy core with the Dragon Fairy and Steel with the Clefable. What do you think about that?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I like Clefable a lot. I like Clefairy better, of course, inside of doubles. Clefairy is definitely the better mon, I feel, but Clefable is still going to do a lot of work. It doesn't get Friend Guard, which is important to note, so it loses some of that, but it's still like a really good offensive fairy, and it still gets really good support. And I think by this point, I don't think there's a lot of other fairies that could have fulfilled what she probably needs on this team, but she's got a very, very strong offense to get going with, so let's see how it goes.
It's a fat blob that follow me's and sits on the field forever. That's about it. All right, next up we got Venusaur going with to the Bronx Blastoise. Hey, you said something about Sun, and now we see a Venusaur. Could we potentially be seeing your words come true? I don't know. So
it's 2 out of 3. I actually made that claim not remembering what else they picked, so we'll have to see.
I didn't remember either, so yeah.
I remember now.
Yeah, Venusaur, great Pokemon. If he does end up getting a Drought Setter, and he can pair it with the Venusaur, he gets really fast Sleep Powder, and we keep talking about Sleep being great. It's just a super strong freaking mon under the sun, and the move pool additions of Weather Ball and Earth Power were great for it, and that's really all we gotta say. I respect the weather. We will be seeing that later. I mean, we're not even gonna mess around with that. We're gonna see weather later, so
yeah, that's for sure.
So
all it takes, just 2 words.
Yeah.
Chlorophyll Sleep Powder.
Love it. Right, next up we have D-tier Licky Licky. So we got James, he's digging down into the low tiers at the start, and you know what? I can respect it. I'm typically a person that's going to draft his high tiers first, but you know what? This man saw stuff he really wanted in the low tier. He was guaranteed to get it, so I gotta respect that, right? And Licky Licky's not bad.
I almost wonder if this wasn't a reactive pick, because within the last round between his last one, he's seen Rain, he's seen Sand, and he sees what looks like is going to be a very strong Sun core as well. So you know what? That Cloud9 is looking really good right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a mon that he's probably going to bring a lot, and it's got a lot of value in its own right outside of the Cloud9, so we'll see what happens.
For sure. Good low tier pick. Cloud9, amazing. All right, next up we have the D-tier Magmortar going to the Shroom Star Raptors. Pick 3, and he's picking up his D-tier, and you know what? I can kind of respect it. Magmortar was one of those ones we were deliberating on for a little bit, and we did end up picking a D-tier, and I think it's one of the best mons in D-tier. It's just a very strong Pokemon in general. It does get moves like Follow Me and stuff like that through passive bench from Magmars and stuff, which is pretty crazy, and it's just a good mon in general for the value, and yeah, that's about it really. What do you think?
I don't think I have anything else to say about it. It's super strong offensively. It's got Follow Me support. It's a little slacking on the speed side, but once again, it's a D-tier mon.
Yep.
It's a D-tier mon that I think is probably well worth it within the tier that it's in. I'm kind of surprised looking back on it now we didn't put it in C, but to be honest, I just had to look up a lot about it just right now, so it's going to be an interesting pick. Plus, you have this grass, now you have the fire. Let's see some sort of bulky water come out. You've already got the core set up that you need.
For sure.
Or that you might end up using, so we'll see what happens.
All right, next up, we have the S-tier Tapu Koko going to the Night Dazer. So originally he had Cinderace in this slot, and he was super hyped. He was like, oh my god, I got Cinderace. And I'm like, dude, Cinderace is trash. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to swap it out for Tapu Koko. And I'm like, yes, that's a good choice. But anyway, all that aside, Tapu Koko, amazing freaking Pokemon. This was also one of them that we were talking about with Tapu Koko is, do we want to put it in A tier? But if we put it in A tier, it's far and away the best Pokemon in that tier. But it's outclassed by Regieleki and S, but at the same time, it's still a Tapu Koko, and we're like, all right, well, it's Tapu Koko, we're keeping it an S. I mean, it's a good mod. What else there is to say, you know? So...
It's fast, and Electric Terrain is as good as it gets, especially considering how much Sleep is probably going to be going around. I think it's probably one of the best S tiers that was remaining. Come around time to start doing free agents.
Yeah, for sure. He's already got this is a late pick for him. This isn't after the draft pick for him, so he's not going to be like building with his terrain in mind. But it's okay. So backup is like Pincurchin, yeah. So yeah, Tapu Koko is fantastic. All right, next up though we have the Sunbury Sunfist grabbing Torkoal. This was part of a whole like after draft trading session as well. So he did end up getting his Torkoal, and paired with the Aromatisse, cool, great. He gets Torkoal under Trick Room, and there's not a lot of things scarier than that. So, what do you think?
Torkoal's just a scary mon to deal with. You can send it out. I'd like to see him get more things, pick up some more things that can abuse the sun, because we haven't seen that yet. But I think as far as a tier pick goes, I don't think you could get much better than Torkoal. It's just so good. It's so bulky. It hits so hard. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just a good mon.
Good mon is good. All right, next up we have Electivire, very similar to the pick of Magmortar in the same round. Just good D-tier pick. This was another one that we were doing the same thing with, deliberating about, but gets Follow Me for the similar events. It's just pretty much almost exactly one for one what we were talking about with Magmortar. I mean, am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah. It does get an immunity, but it's not like it's Motor Drive instead of Lightning Rod, so he does have to make the call to switch into the electrical moves, or he can follow me them away, I guess, and get the Motor Drive boost. But yeah, good mon is good. I mean, what can you do? Amazing value here for his D tier. All right, hey, it's me again with Gastrodon. So let me know what you think about this pickup from Gastrodon for me.
I love Gastrodon. I love it so much. It's just such a good mon. Yeah, I can't like it because you're counting my rain, but like, oh well, I'll have to deal with it, I guess. The only thing that like it doesn't have going for it is of course that 4 times grass weakness, but honestly, it's so bulky enough with a Rindo Berry, like it'll still eat them up, honestly, because I remember early VGC, I was playing with the Gyarados, and Power Whips were not even killing through Rindo Berry. Which is absolutely crazy. And it's still got good support. It's so bulky. It's going to be really good for the Diancie and anything else that you pick up that might be weak to water. Yeah, good mon is good. Yeah,
good mon is good. So, all right. Next up, we have Charizard going to the Nashville Nidokings. B-tier Charizard. Yeah, interesting. I don't really know what exactly the role it serves here. I mean, especially because he does have Incineroar as a good strong fire type. But I mean, it's Charizard. It gets a lot of freaking moves. It gets Tailwind support. I mean, what do you think?
It's a fast mon. It's got a really bad weakness inside of Rock Slide. Rock Slide really just completely ruins it. If they pick up a Sunsetter, maybe we'll look at this a little differently. It's just another good mon. I think it's maybe a little. Well, no, B tier is about the right spot for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
If it can find a way to set up Tailwind, that's really good. I feel like almost all the time instead of VGC, it's going to want to run specially. For sure.
Yeah.
Considering that it can get that spread Heat Wave, but of course it also gets Earthquake if it's once a physical spread move. It's one of those mons that I think is going to really depend on what else she picks to close it out, but I think it's still going to be a really good mon.
Okay. All right. Neat pick. We'll see how it goes. We have Tornadus Incarnate going to the Ann Arbor Selgors. Pretty good Pokemon. It gets that Prankster Tailwind, gets other Prankster support moves, like Taunt and stuff like that, and can hit pretty hard. It gets Hurricane. It also gets Nasty Plot now, which is cool. Yeah, it's just mostly going to be running support, but it can definitely be a very scary offensive threat. What do you know?
Yeah. Yeah, just good prankster support. What else can you say about it?
For sure.
It's gonna be scary.
All right. Hey, it's you, and you have the Ludicolo. I wonder why. So, yeah. But
I was trying to figure out what rain pick I wanted for my first rain abuser, and Ludicolo just kind of seemed to fit the bill. It was a little bit higher tier than I feel like some of the other mons were, but I think that Ludicolo just works well in draft. It's a good special mon to deal damage. It's a little bit on the frail side. And looking back on it now, I'm still not sure how much I like it, but as far as rain abusers inside of doubles go, I feel like Ludicolo was just going to be a good mon. So, your thoughts?
Good fast fake out under the rain, which is also was fantastic. You know, it's a Ludicolo. It's not going to be a world breaker, but you know, rain boosted hydro pumps and stuff like that coming off of this thing are still going to freaking hurt. And you know, if anybody does have like a storm drain mon, it like my Gastrodon for example, like I don't want to have nothing to do with Ludicolo still, because you know 1 Giga Drain is still gonna put a hurting on me, and I can't do much back to it. So yeah, like so but yeah, it's just a good mon. A lot of weaknesses kind of, but you know what, it's good. It's, you know, like I said, fast fake out is just fantastic, and you know, you can't hate on that. Right, here we go. S tier Dragapult finally making its appearance on your team, and now we can talk about the combo of Cobalion plus Dragapult. What do you know?
So originally when I did the draft, of course, I drafted Dragapult with Bisharp at the same time. So of course that made a lot of sense because I have that Defiant now, because we have good old Dragapult and all of its scary stuff that it can already do offensively. It's still great support as well. It has Breaking Swipe, it has Screens. I guess you can like do Dragon Dance stuff too, but you don't see that as much inside of singles. Dragon Darts is a fantastic doubles move because regardless of if he has that fairy on the field, it's still going to deal both hits of damage to something at least, since it has that lovely little redirect. And on top of that, like if the case of like that Clefable or the Clefairy using Follow Me, it's just going to ignore that too.
Yep.
So it's just a great mon all around, and if you combine that with Beat Up and giving Cobalion a +4 attack boost right on its first turn out on the field, that's a very, very scary thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
So something that pairs well with a lot of the mons that I end up taking. So, and it's just a good mon in general.
It's a Pult. It doesn't matter what format this thing is in. It's gonna be freaking amazing no matter what. Yeah, there's really not a lot to say about Pult. It's just, it's Pult. It's good. All right, next up, going back up, we have the Ann Arbor Selgors picking up Porygon Z. This is, I believe, a free agent transaction that he made. He changed up his team completely, pretty much through his transactions and trades at the end. And you know what? I kind of like Porygon Z. This thing is an absolute freaking nuke. Like, it's so good. It doesn't have Dynamax to get, like, you know, the insanely powerful freaking, like, max strikes, so he doesn't have that speed control advantage, but holy crap, this thing is gonna be hard to freaking, you know, switch into and, you know, really prep for it. Like, it just hits so damn hard.
Yeah. Nope, I think that sums it up.
Pretty
it's
much.
Like a truck. Nothing else to it.
Yep. All right, we got Ditto going to the Nashville Nido Kings. What do you think about Ditto?
Ditto is such a weird mon in doubles. I never see it get used. There's a reason it's in D tier. At the same time, there's quite a few different mons that have the potential to set up. Between the picks that have already been taken, it's a mon that you can just bring to. You can just pull it in your team preview, and already there's a lot of things that changes about the battle that's about to happen. You can force your opponent to make a lot of very hard decisions and not do things they otherwise wish that they could. I don't know. Toss a scarf on and let it sweep.
Let it do a Ditto thing. Alright, next up, we got me picking up Noivern. So apparently I sniped this away from MTB. But, yeah, so I saw the Rillaboom go, and I saw like a few other things. I'm like, you know what, let's go with Noivern, because It's a good fast mon. Has a great typing and dragon flying. Has a pretty good move pool. It doesn't hit that hard, but it has a good support move pool with like tailwind and like taunt and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's okay. It's pretty fast. Hits decently hard. What do you think?
It's a mon you have to deal with. It's not my favorite mon. I've never liked Noivern. Not necessarily. I guess not necessarily for its like offense and like it's generally useless as a mon. I just don't like it. But it's an interesting mon. It has a lot of good utility. It's a good B tier pick.
Yeah. Frisk, fantastic. Frisk like switcherooing away items.
Frisk, yeah.
Super Fang. There you go. Yeah. Great mon. Just got a good move pool. I like it. All right, next up, hey, look at that. We got some more weather going in. We got the Alolan Ninetales going to JK. Yeah, great freaking weather setter. I think that this is I think Alolan Ninetales is better in doubles than singles, because, like, it's just absolutely so good. Like, spread Blizzard, setting up Aurora Veil, like, ugh, what do you think?
Yeah. That rounds out all the weathers. We now have a weather setter on we have all the weathers now represented within this 12-person doubles draft.
In round 4.
Is absolutely crazy to me, but in round 4. So, like, it's going to be a very, very interesting, it's going to be an interesting season with the pickup of this. I'm hoping to see some sort of other weather abuser pop up on the team, but, like, even all on its own, Alolan Ninetales is just an absolute monster.
Yeah, who'd figure my freaking draft league has a ton of weather, right? All right, next up, we got Neoligo going to the Sunbury Stunfisks, and that's a lot of sis sounds, whatever. But anyway, Power Herb, Meteor Beam. You can run a special defense boost or a special attacking boosting set. You can run a speed boosting set. Like, this one's good. That's all there is to it.
Nihilgo is probably my favorite of the Ultra Beasts. Like right behind Kartana, I really like Nihilgo, and it was like one of those mons that if I wasn't drafting Rain, I probably would have picked up like round 1 or round 2. The only thing it doesn't have going for it is that 4 times ground weakness. But like Power Herb, Meteor Beam, Beast Boost. This thing sets up in one turn, just becomes the scariest thing on the field, and it can be really hard to deal with, especially if you get good support. The only thing that I'm worried about right now is that you have 2 things that are very weak to ground on this team, between the Torkoal and the Nihilgo. But once again, you can rest on Shukaberry on either. Well, not on the Nihilgo. Nihilgo will die anyways, because bulk isn't the greatest. But like, either way, like this is already shaping up to be a very scary team to deal with. You have a lot of very interesting offense. You have a little bit of a Trick Room mode starting to show up, plus the sun. So yeah. We'll see what happens.
Great team. All right, next up we got Blossom going to the Night Dazers. So he did pretty well with it in singles, so I guess he wanted to try to bring it over. So Blossom was, I think, in like the top 3 of the kill leaderboard for like over half the season. So you know what? He put work in for it, and Blossom's not bad. It's a cute little D tier pick, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot to say about it.
I would say it's good, to be honest. It's one of those mons that's like, I don't know, Pure Grass is just a kind of nice typing to begin with. Not a whole lot of weaknesses to deal with. It's kind of bulky, but kind of not. But it also gets good recovery, and it gets ways to set up, which is really interesting. You see it a lot more in singles, I suppose, but like I think it's still going to get a lot of use. I really wish it got something like Rage Powder.
Oh yeah, that would be great
to give it more support options. It would absolutely love that. But honestly, it doesn't need it. It's a mon that's very scary to not try to prep for.
Yep. Yeah, good value in the D tier, I think.
Plus, we have 2 separate teams that are both building Sun, and all of a sudden that Chlorophyll is looking really nice.
Yeah, Chlorophyll with your 50 base speed. Yeah.
Still.
All right. Next up, we got Scrafty going to the Strawman Star Rafters. Ooh, I kind of wanted this mon. It didn't. I kind of wanted it really late, so I actually asked him if he wanted to trade, but he's like, yeah, nah, because Scrafty's amazing, and I'm just like, yo, I do not blame you for that. Scrafty's fantastic. Really good Pokemon in general. I mean, what else can you say? It gets Fake Out, Intimidate. It can run Shed Skin. It can run Moxie and be an offensive Pokemon. Like, it's bulky. Like, there's a lot good about Scrafty. So, yeah, what do you think?
It's the perfect mon. I think Scrafty is perfect in every way. I think it's probably the best value pick inside of B tier. And I think it was definitely the best value for an Intimidate mon out there, even above Incineroar, because Incineroar is that S tier pick, and while I think Incineroar is absolutely deserving of that, it was a great pick. I think if you're looking for an Intimidator, I think Scrafty was the way to go.
Fair. So I think, great Pokemon. All right, next up we have Entei going to the Jamestown Hala Hypnos. Tell us about Entei. We got some buffs to this boy.
Ooh, I don't know much about Entei. I actually didn't look into it a whole lot. I was like, okay, it's a mon.
Well, I'll tell you. So,
Sacred Fire. Sacred Fire is already like one of the best moves I think in the game. Barring that 95% accuracy, which I'm just not a fan of anything that's not over 100%. But then again, it's scary. It's going to be really hard to deal with.
All right, so the biggest thing that was buffed about Entei is Inner Focus now not being affected by Intimidate.
I forgot about that.
That's kind of like the biggest thing about Entei. It's just a strong fire type. It's relatively fast, and it gets extreme speed for those times where it's not fast enough, and just a good mon. It doesn't get like Earthquake or Rock Slide or anything, which sucks, but nothing wants to take a Sacred Fire from this thing when they can't Intimidate it and get that freaking that burn chance. And
yeah.
Good mon is
Something
good.
else I'm seeing about it is that it's a relatively fast mon that also has access to Bulldoze.
Mm-hmm.
So if you pick up we haven't talked about it a whole lot, but there's a lot of mons on this list that really appreciate having access to low base power moves that also hit your own mons. And ground, there's a lot of ground weak mons. Not necessarily on his team right now. I'm not sure if he gets any later, but that would really appreciate being able to have access to self-proc on weakness policy. So I think that's another use that we'll probably see come out at some point.
For sure.
If he picks up something else that it works with.
All right, next up we have Goodra going to the Bronx Blastoise. Really fat dragon, has some pretty decent abilities, gooey, hydration if he's up against the rain team. I believe Sap Sipper. There we go. That was the last one. Sap Sipper's fantastic. Yep. Just a good fat dragon. The move pool is freaking insane on this Pokemon. It gets like literally everything. Like it's insane. So there's that. What do you think? What do you think about this guy?
Being Pure Dragon is great. It's a fantastic moon. If you're going to be leading Tapu Fini, you always bring this thing in the back in case they lead some sort of grass type. You can just swap it straight out. I'll get that Sap Sipper boost. Not that it would really use the attack boost because it's special. Well, no, it can use the attack
It can.
boost.
It can definitely.
It's just that special pool is a lot better, I think. Yeah. But like, this is just a mon that is just super, super good. You cannot get rid of it. This is such a thick team.
I do not know if Petal Blizzard hits your partner. That would be something to look into. Yeah,
I'll take a look.
Yeah,
I'll take a look real quick.
You want to take a quick look? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, but if it does, then that's great. Like Venusaur with Petal Blizzard plus Goodra Sap Sipper.
I think it looks like. Oh, it does.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
I think it does. I need to double check. It says all adjacent mods, so I think it
that should mean it then.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's cool.
That's a really scary interaction to deal with. I love it. That makes this pick look even better than it already did. Nice.
All right. So next up we have Hitmontop going to the Sakura Sylveon. So this is about when I started helping her out with her draft because she's more primarily a singles player, but she wanted to take a dip into VGC, and so she asked me to give her some pointers on her draft. I'm like, you know what, Hitmontop looks really good here. So gives her wide guard support, gives her Intimidate, gives her Fake Out, gives her a strong fighting type that can deal with the steel types that she wasn't really doing that great with. it gives her just Muck Punch, Sucker Punch, Fake Out, just a ton of priority. Good Mon is good. Hitmontop has been around for a while in VGC, and it is always done well. What do you think?
It's one of those mons that just has a lot of ways that it can be used. It actually, I'm pretty sure, won Worlds in 2016, if I remember right.
Yeah, one of those years, yeah.
It's got so much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 26. I think it was Wolf's team in 2016. I'm pretty sure is the one that won it. It was running something. I think it was running Eject Pack, which is absolutely crazy. It's just a great mon.
Good mon is good.
It plays a different role than a lot of the other intimidators. Access to wide guard is really good. It still gets that fake out support. Plus, I think it also gets priority in Mac Punch and Sucker Punch as well, if I remember right.
Yep.
So it's got a lot of use. It's a good mon.
Good mon is good. So, all right, the last pick of round 4 here, picking up my Milotic all the way in round 4. What do you think about that?
I can't believe it lasted this long. And I'm going to be honest, we all made a mistake. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We should never have let it get back around to the Sand team. The Sand team needs a bulky water, and boy, did it just get the best bulky water that's out there.
Oh my god, this is gross. This is absolutely. This mon is just gross.
It's such a versatile mon too. You can run Coil and start throwing out 100% accurate Hypnosises. You can just press Surf as well. Scald is good. It gets Recover. It's hard to get rid of. Does it get Helping Hand too? Does it get to support?
It might. I don't know, but like, I mean, it's.
Don't forget competitive.
Yep. This mon is just insane.
Good luck trying to intimidate the XP drill. That's not happening.
This is just insane.
Like, everyone thinks about Milotic towards bulk, but like, it has 100 base special attack. This thing can hurt. If you give it a competitive boost, now all of a sudden you have to deal with it hitting you hard as well. It gets Icy Wind, so you get fantastic speed control. Run Marvel Scale, of course, and go ahead and shore up. It's like almost kind of lackluster normal defense. It's like its only real weak point is that little bit of a load defense, but Marvel Scale kind of fixes that. I think Milotic is a great choice for this team, and it's going to be a problem.
Oh my god, just I don't know how we let him get this in round 4. So yeah. All right, so next up, it is back around. Hopefully I set up the draft stream right, but he ended up getting Alcremie, so I think he originally had, like, Slurpuff in this slot or something like that. He had another fairy.
Yeah.
He ended up getting Alcremie, and Alcremie's kind of cute in VGC. It gets a very unique move in Decorate. It's not very fast, but he can run like Choice Scarf Decorate, and it boosts. It's basically growth, right? For your partner, or I guess technically he could freaking target his opponents, but no, don't do that.
Yeah.
So it's a cute little mon. It's fairly bulky. Gets Recover. You can go for like Calm Mind, Stored Power stuff if it doesn't want to do the Decorate shenanigans, but not really a lot to say about it. It's cute.
Yeah, it's a mon you have to be careful for, because especially with the mons he already has on his team, like any of them would really appreciate having a Decorate placed on them, and now you got a problem.
Yep, for sure. All right, next up we got Crocodile going to the Sakura Sylveons. This is probably one of my favorite picks that I suggested for it, because I love Crocodile. This Pokemon is freaking amazing. So like it's just so good. Intimidate. It can be offensive. It can run Moxie. It has Knockoff. It has Earthquake. It has Rock Slide. It's relatively fast. Like, I love this Pokemon. It's basically a budget Landorus Therian, and to boot, it's like 1 base speed faster too, which is like, I love this mon. What? Just stop me.
Don't forget Anger Points.
Oh,
Anger
yes.
Points in doubles. Like, you never see it in singles, but like, there's I don't think any mons on the team right now get one of those guaranteed crit moves. But like,
no.
+6 Crocodile is so nasty to deal with. It's like, it's one of those gimmicks that you have to be ready for. Intimidate is already great. Moxie is fantastic if you want it to sweep. It's good.
I love Crocodile so much.
I know I just keep saying this, but once again, it's just a good mod. Yeah.
I just love Crocodile, so I'm very happy that she took my advice on this one. I'm looking forward to seeing this thing do work. I love it. All right, next up we got Aerodactyl by the Bronx Blastoise going to a C tier pick. What do you think about it?
Aerodactyl's good. I need to look up more stuff about it. Does it get Tailwind support?
It does. It does
it's
get
already
Tailwind.
So fast. Okay, so this is already really good. Yeah, no, you got good support right away, I guess, with the Tailwind.
Mm-hmm.
What else can it do? It can taunt. That's really fast taunt. This could be a pinch Sunsetter, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It gets Sunny Day, so this could be a source of the sun that this team that the Venusaur would really, really appreciate, and the Arcanine as well. Plus, it's scary in its own right. Base 105 attack. Earthquake, and it's a C tier mon.
Yeah. I think it's a good value for what it is. Good Pokemon.
Stab Rock Slide.
Yeah.
Fast Stab Rock Slide is really, really good.
Remember, where there's a Rock Slide, there's a flinch, and there's a way. So keep that in mind. So and Aerodactyl with its super fast speed, like it's one of the better ways to try to cheese out crap like that. So what are you gonna do? All right, next up we have going all the way to F tier, spending his 20 points on an F tier, Mr. Mime Galar. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna be honest. This is probably one of the most pinch picks in the draft. Mr. Mime Galar, I frankly think should not have been an F tier at all. I just forgot about when we were doing the tier building.
Yeah, it happens.
Eviolite makes it bulky enough so it can take 2 or even maybe 3 hits. It gets super, super good coverage and support. What do we got? Okay, we still don't have anything yet that can use weakness policy, but it gets that lovely little move called Ice Shard.
Mm-hmm.
It can set up on its own with Nasty Plot, though that's not normally what you're going to see it for. It can imprison Trick Room, if I remember right.
Yes, Butterfree, weakness policy, Butterfree. Yes. Okay.
Weakness policy, Butterfree, sure. It does get imprisoned, but it's a good Trick Room setter itself. It has fast hypnosis. Helping Hand is great. As always inside of this type of format.
Gets Fake Out, right? I'm pretty sure.
It does get Fake Out.
Yep.
It does a fantastic support mon. Probably the best support mon in F. I was really disappointed when I realized that it got picked like way after the fact.
Yeah.
Once again, you have Icy Wind for great speed control. There's not a lot. Healing Wish is something that I didn't even realize it gets. Healing Wish is actually really, really interesting. It's a super versatile mon. Definitely the best of the Mr. Mime tree, which is kind of funny because I think the rest of them are inside of D tier too.
Yeah, I
which
think
is
so.
Definitely an oversight.
It happens.
Yeah,
no tier list is perfect. What you gonna do? So,
It happens.
Yeah,
this is a great pick. Nothing else to say about it.
for sure. Yeah.
Screen Cleaner too. Don't forget about that.
Ooh, that's true.
Of course, Screen Cleaner. Screen Cleaner isn't great, I guess, for himself because he doesn't want to switch it in after the Regieleki switches in screens. But like against an opponent, that's good.
Yeah. All right, next up we have the Strawman Staraptors picking up Necrozma, and this is another. Is it Necrozma? How do you guys say it? I don't know. I switch it up.
I go back and forth. Depends on the day,
exactly.
Depends on what words I said before it.
So yeah, Necrozma. Let's just go with Necrozma. No, Necrozma. It's just so good. Like it's so
Photon
fat.
Geyser hit both?
I don't think it does. No, I think it's still a single target move, but it gets like Heat Wave, it gets Rock Slide. It's ridiculously bulky, and Prism Armor even helps on top of that. You can set Trick Room. It can imprison Trick Room. It can just do a lot of things. And you know what? What else can you say? You gotta. It's just a good mon.
It's a great mon. Prism Armor really makes it a fantastic weakness policy user. Because normally, at least inside of this current format, Dynamax is normally what you'd trust to be able to help you be able to take even like normally strong hits in order to activate your weakness policies. Prism Armor makes Necrozma super, super good for a weakness policy target. The only thing it kind of lacks is its speed, but honestly, you can even shore that up because I think it gets agility. I think it gets Dragon Dance.
Yeah, it gets Dragon Dance, Autotomize, and Rock Polish. I do. I mean, even I mean, there's no reason why you wouldn't go for Autotomize.
There's two separate teams. Both DDs have been picked, so Expanding Force is going to look really, really nice on it in certain matchups.
For sure.
It's a scary mon to deal with. It's got good. It can run support. It can run support. It can be super offensive. It's one of those mons that's going to be something that you have to try to prep for, but you're just gonna have to wait and see what it does, and then try to adjust for game 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't think you're taking game 1.
Nah, great mon. All right, next up we got Crobat going to the Night Dazers, and you know what? I love it. I love Crobat. It's actually very similar to my Noivern. One of the things that I was debating on if I wanted to pick up Crobat or Noivern, and I decided on Noivern just because I like Noivern ever so slightly more. But you know, it gets pretty much the same things. Like, you know, you get like Super Fang, Taunt, Tailwind. You know, Heat Wave, if you want to use it specially. Like, it's just a good freaking little mon, and yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot else to say about it. What do you think?
I think the one thing that it really gets over Noivern is the fact that it gets inner focus. So the fake out Trick Room leads are not going to work against it, whereas that would work against the Noivern. But then again, the Noivern is a lot more scarier offensively. They both sit right there at that 130 speed tier. I think an Noivern's a little bit slower.
123.
If I remember right. Yeah, so it's a little bit slower, but still both are going to be really good. Taunt, Tailwind are going to be super good. Plus, Fast Haste. That's another really big deal. Not as much without Dynamax, but it's still super good. You're going to see a lot of that. Super Fang is fantastic.
Great Pokemon. All right, next up we got Executor going to the Sunbury Stunfisk. There we go. He's finally got himself a Chlorophyll mon. And you know what? Not a bad one at that. You know, he's not the fastest in the world, but little old Eggy can get going. What do you think?
Oh, it can absolutely get going. And honestly, I think it's also one of the best Trick Room setters. I think we're going to see this Eggy go both slow and fast throughout the season. I really love the idea of Room Super Service Eggy. I love that idea a lot, in my mind at least.
I like that.
And then base 55 speed is perfect for Chlorophyll. That does push it just above most of the things that you're outspeeding. I think it even pushes you up to maybe outspeeding like 120 or 130 base stat mons. It's not a strict double. It's slightly better than that. So like you're gonna be outspeeding most of the game if you can get this thing underneath Sun properly at max speed. Super bulky, very strong special attack. And it just pairs super well with Torkoal because it has a lot of the offensive moves that it needs to cover some of Torkoal's weaknesses.
Yep. Just a good move pool in general. I mean, not as good as like Venusaur, but you know, it does get, you know, psychic coverage, which Venusaur doesn't have, and stuff like that. And you know, just a great mon. Nice mid speed tier, and it's just great. So I like it. All right, next up we got the B tier Moltres going to the Route 2 Rattata. I don't know much about Moltres in a VGC setting. Can you enlighten us a little bit, maybe?
I'm taking a look at it right now because I honestly haven't seen much Moltres either. Flame Body is honestly not a bad ability, not nearly as good as in singles, and you're definitely not going to run pressure, so you can run Flame Body, which is interesting. It's fast, got a high special attack. Honestly, I like it paired with the Moltres quite a bit. I think the two kind of complement each other all right, typing-wise at least. It's got Tailwind, which is good. Will-O-Wisp, also good. I don't know. Just good stats, decent moves.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bird.
Yeah.
It's a bird, so,
Mystical
I mean, there's that. Oh yeah, Mystical Fire, that's cute.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to put it. It's a bird. Weather Ball.
It's a bird. It's a bird.
Weather Ball, which
ooh,
is
ice coverage.
So.
Ice coverage with his Ninetales. That's kind of cool, actually.
That is cool.
Yeah, not bad. All right, next we got me. This was one of my transactions. I ended up swapping out. I think it was Starmie. I think it was for Espeon. So that's pretty cool. It gives me a expanding force user, a pretty strong one. You know, Espeon. It has the same offensive stats as Latios on the special side. I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
Like this
It's
thing
just
can actually
normally
hit
so
hard.
frail is the only
Yeah.
problem. It's frail and it's a fast mod, don't get me wrong, but it's just barely not fast enough to contend sometimes with the things that it needs to contend with. But that's a really good special attack stat for sure. The only thing it really misses, I think it kind of misses out on the coverage. But not even that bad is the thing. Like, Fairy Psychic, Grass depending on the Mon. I mean, it gets Zap Cannon, but let's not.
Heck yeah!
Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam is great. Expanding Force, you have Dazzling Gleam, Expanding Force are good. Shadow Ball. But that's kind of it for it on the coverage side. So its coverage kind of sucks, but like, you're not going to click anything except Expanding Force anyways most of the time. So
yeah, I like it. I thought it was because I originally had Starmie and that was going to be my Expanding Force user. It's a little bit faster and it gives a little bit more support. But I was like, well, I'm kind of lacking on like terrain abuse, so I swapped it out for Espeon, and also gives me a way to stop taunts as well if I wanted to try to set up Trick Room with Espeon, maybe. But you know, it's a cute little mon. It's a neat option, and it's gonna hit hard at least. And you know what? That's kind of what I wanted it for. So
it's a good pick. You needed a little more offense.
So, all right. Next up, we have Cherum going to the Nashville Nido Kings for 20 points.
That's a pick.
Yeah. That's a bit.
What does this thing even do? I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea.
Okay, so it gets Flower Gift, which is like an attack and a special defense boost to your partner in the sun.
Is that strictly normal attack?
Yeah, it's just attack. It's an attack and a special defense boost. So he can like
so weird.
He can pair it with the Kartana. That's actually a good point. 1.5 times boost. Okay, cool.
It's a good boost. Where's your sun coming from?
Yeah.
My next question.
I guess.
It definitely wants the sun. I keep forgetting Charizard doesn't get Charizard doesn't get drought.
Yeah, so, not until he megas. So yeah.
Nope. So, it's interesting.
It's cute.
It's honestly, it can run attacks. Like, I don't think because its support move pool isn't great. I don't think.
I mean, it gets like Helping Hand and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not terrible.
Everything gets Helping Hands though. So, not terrible. I'm excited to see how this thing does.
It should be interesting. All right, next up we got Blastoise going to the Ann Arbor Selgors for a 180 points. So Blastoise is pretty cool. It gets Fake Out. It gets, obviously Shell Smash now, but it also gets Follow Me from like a really old event, which is really cool. So yeah, I think Blastoise is actually fantastic. It can, be supportive. It can be offensive. It's just a good Pokemon. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna see Follow Me come out of it that often. Does it still get Fake Out too?
It does. Yep.
It does. Yeah.
And
so
Aqua Jet.
Fake Out. It has Shell Smash. You already have the Clefairy, so you already have Follow Me. Clefairy does get Follow Me, right?
Yep.
I'm not blanking. Am I? Okay,
yeah,
that's
it
what
does.
I thought. So like, this thing's gonna be getting a lot of Shell Smashes off, without a doubt, and it has great moves too. Yeah, this is a scary A tier pick. That's exactly what this is.
Good.
It's just going to come out.
Good.
It's going to deal a lot of damage, and every once in a while you're going to see it come out and play that support role too next to the Kyurem, or the Porygon.
Shell Smash, Water Spout. Yep.
It's impossible to ignore.
That does sound scary. Shell Smash plus Water Spout plus Follow Me Clef. Oof. Ouch. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Next up. Hey, it's you again.
Hey.
At the halfway point, we got the C tier Boltund, the mascot pick. Not bad. What do you think?
It is not. Every draft I've played in, I always pick the mascot. This time around is the Boltund, and I specifically chose the Boltund as my mascot for this draft because I liked it as a VGC mon. It gets access to competitive, which is great. It has, honestly, it's some of the best fast support I think in the game. It gets Charm and Airy Impulse, so I can just -2 anything I want right off the bat. Gets access to Rising Voltage in the case that something decides to set terrain for me. Volt Switch is nice. Helping Hand. And if I ever want to run it offensively, it has access to Strong Jaw and a good set of moves there too. So it can be a great electric special user if I can get a competitive boost off. It can run strictly support, or I can go ahead and run offensive with physical. So like, it's got a lot of potential use, and I'm excited to try to see what I can pull with it.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's a good mon. I think it's one of those mons that's a little overlooked, whatever you want to call it, for electric types, because we did have like other things like Minectric and stuff down there in that tier as well, and so I feel like a lot of people would have picked up like Minectric over Bolton just for the lightning rod support, but I think you're gonna do well with it. So, but and that's our halfway point. Oh boy, we're getting there. Slowly but surely, I guess, but we're getting there. All right, next up, you picked up the Buzzwole. Interesting pick.
I'm trying to remember now what my actual reasoning for it was. Well, I'll tell you what part of it was. Part of it was I just had a lot of problems with this thing. Actually, no, they never brought the Buzzwole, but I had to prep for it. But I wanted a mon that could kind of sit back and do damage. Buzzwole is super, super physically bulky, which I really like. Why did I pick this thing?
There's always one, isn't there? But I mean, it's Buzzwole.
There's always one that I'm kind of wondering about. We'll see what it can do. It gets access to coaching, which is interesting.
It's not that fast, but
I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
It's not that fast, which is one of those things that kind of holds it back. Typing wise, it really appreciates having the rain up because now I'm not weak to fire. Of course, it's got 4 times flying weakness, and that's a problem, but, it's a mon I decided to pick. We'll see how long it sticks around.
We'll see. I mean, you got plenty of free agent transactions for a reason, so.
Exactly.
All right. Next up, we got Jolteon going to the Ann Arbor Selgors. This was a transaction later on as well. Volt Absorb user, it's an EV. It just does evolution things, and it's super duper fast. Yeah. So I mean,
Jolteon is I think it's probably one of the best evolutions in the draft. It's got a good access to honestly just general support as well, but it's also very scary on its own. So
I mean, there's not really a lot to say.
Anything there get discharged? Does the Tornadus get discharged? That could be interesting. Porygon gets discharged.
Porygon does, yes. So like it can definitely do that. Good. I mean, it's a Jolteon. I mean, what else do you want us to say, really, right? So, yeah. All right, next up we got Spectrier going to the Nashville Nido Kings. Okay.
I'm surprised this stuck around for us. I'm surprised.
I know, right? Like, wow. Spectrier is in a really weird position, because I go ahead.
Yeah, its coverage is bad. Let's be honest, its coverage is it's not bad, it's limited.
Yeah, that's a better word for it.
At the same time, it has one of the... It's stupid fast, it's got a stupidly high special attack, and it's got a fantastic ability to top it off. It is fully an A-tier worthy mon. I could have seen it even going in S.
I think we were very close to potentially putting in an S too, but so Spectrier does have a really interesting niche. It's like a very fast bulldoze mon that can't be faked out. So like right now you're seeing it a lot paired with like Solgaleo on the ladder, which makes sense. It's just a cool little niche mon, and it can definitely snowball very fast because of that Grim Nay ability. It's basically special Moxie, and it's insane. This mon is really cool, and I'm interested in seeing what they can do with it. It should be pretty cool.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have me. This is my second transaction that I made. I ended up swapping out, I think it was Mienshao for Conkeldurr. I like that change a lot. Yeah. So the idea was like I originally had Mienshao so I can at least have some fake out pressure, and it gave me wide guard as well. But I was looking at it, I'm like, all right, well, I'm running Psychic Terrain, so losing Fake Out isn't the end of the world. I do still have to deal with Psychic Terrain plus my Mach Punch, but it's okay. gives me a status deterrent, I guess, with guts. And it's just a really strong like Trick Room Abuser as well. So I don't know. What do you think about this change?
I think it's just a good mon. Nice and bulky, access to some great fighting moves. I don't know. Good mon do good things.
Good mon do good things. I don't think I could put it better. All right. Next up, we got Silvally with Route 2 Rattata, and yes, of course, he can use all of the Silvally forms, so you can change it and make it customizable to however he wants it, and that is awesome. And I love Silvally. I love Silvally in draft. This thing is so cool.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything else to say about it. I disagree.
I disagree. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't do... It's a very straightforward mon, but you know what? You gotta love it. Alright, next up we got Fletchinder going to the Sunbury Stunfisk. What do you think about this little D tier pick?
That was a great pick. That is a fantastic mon to pick. I was looking around at it. I was looking around later in the draft at D tiers and hoping it hadn't gotten picked up. And of course it had, and I'm not surprised there. But you have good old Galewing's Tailwind, which is really, really good. It's still stupid fast. If I remember right, Fletchinder. Okay, so not that fast, but like it's just got a good access support moves. It's always going to be running Sash, that's for sure. Will-O-Wisp is good. It's got Quick Guard, which I guess is interesting, but not all that great either way. I don't know. It's just a great D tier support mon to pick up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be doing a whole lot on its own offensively, but it doesn't necessarily need that.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. All right, next up we got Raichu going to the Night Dazers, and there it is. There is his Lightning Rod support for his Gyarados you were talking about. This was a later pickup, so he made this change at the same time as he made the Tapu Koko change, and everybody was like, well, why aren't you going for a Alolan Raichu? And I'm like, he's like, oh, Lightning Rod support, and you know what? That's absolutely fair. Raichu already is a great mon, so sorry, go ahead.
It's kind of interesting. I'm surprised that he still picked it up in favor of the Alola, because he actually has 2 Lightning Rod users, as we're going to see eventually, which is very, very interesting. Then again, they also fulfill different roles, so we'll see how it goes. But the Raichu is very, very... It's a good mon. It does a lot of damage and pairs really well with Tapu Koko still, even without having the Electric Surge, so...
So yeah, he's gonna have Rising Voltage. It gives him Fake Out, gives him Nuzzle. I mean, it's just a good little mon. I like it for sure. All right. Yep. Next up, we have Drifblim going to the Strawman Star Raptors. Let us know about Drifblim. What do you think?
Let me take a quick look at the rest of his team. Okay, so nothing yet. We'll have to see. Drifblim is one of those mons I think is very, very underrated in draft. I remember when we were talking about it, a lot of people said that, hey, it really needs Dynamax in order to do its thing. But like, if you can find a way to if you have something that's Shadow Sneak, you get to Shadow Sneak it, activate its Unburden, it just baton passes those stats out to something else. And there's a lot of things that Necrozma would love to have something like that happen to it. And Necrozma is also like the same psychic or it's psych type as well. So like you could have you could just do it again if you really wanted to. Like I'm imagining some sort of weird scenario where you have, Item Clause. Never mind about that.
Yeah.
But it's a great mon. It has Tailwind. It's stupid fast. It can be a threat on its own. It can pass on the threat to something else.
So
I love Drifblim.
Fun fact: he did just make a transaction today. So we might talk about this later. I'm actually gonna save this for later.
Did he get rid of it?
No. He did not get rid of Drifblim. Okay. He got rid of something for favor of a mon that works well with Drifblim. So whenever we get to that pick, we get to that pick, we'll talk about that. So
okay. I'm gonna avoid the channel. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, to give you a little bit of surprise. All right. Next up, we have Araquanid going to the Jamestown Hall of Hypnos, and I love this pick. Araquanid is just one of my favorite mons, like in like any format. Like it's just, for one, it's just a cool mon. in general. And like it just has a really good move pool. It has great abilities, like gives him wide guard. If he wanted to try to run sticky web, he can. I mean, hazards aren't really that big in VGC, but sticky web I think is one of those hazards that you could definitely make a case for. And it just hits so damn hard with freaking, you know, water bubble liquidations, and you know, can't be burned on top of that. Great mon. Anything else?
I've seen this used in draft before. It is such a scary mon. It either comes down and does damage right away, or it starts setting up on you. If your opponent doesn't have any special defenses left, just consider yourself done if it starts iron defensing up. Because it defends well enough on its own. Like, Aquaring Iron Defense is such a fun set to run, and it's such a fun set to watch get run.
For sure.
It's just a good mod. I love it.
I love it.
Gets access to its own recovery with Leech Life. It's stupid strong water moves. Yeah, nothing wants to get hit with the liquidation. Yeah, nothing wants to get hit.
I actually have one of these shiny from just like a random egg that I hatched back in Sun and Moon. I was just randomly breeding it. I wasn't even trying for a shiny. I just got one. Yeah. It was awesome. So I gotta move that thing up. I gotta hyper train it, I think. So that'd be cool. So, all right. Next up, hey, look at that. He's finally got his freaking son with the Vulpix going to the Bronx Blastoise. So, at this point, to be fair, this was actually the only Sunsetter on the board.
I was wondering.
You know, during the draft itself. So, yeah, that's why he grabs Vulpix. But you know what? It's cute. It's cute. Why not? What do you think?
That is 3 teams with Sun setters at this moment now, so Chlorophyll users all around the league are going to be very, very happy. The Vulpix, it sets Sun. That's what it does.
Yep.
Sets Sun, throw a Scarf on it so it exists around for a little bit longer, click Helping Hand, and like, there you go. That's what it does.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't even get Helping Hand, though.
Ooh, that sucks.
It does get Memento, though, which could be really cool.
That's kind of cute.
Memento could be cute. Will-O-Wisp, of course, is nice. No Helping Hand. I don't know, you could... I don't know, Hypnosis?
It's
Baby
a Vulpix.
It gets Charm. Charm is interesting.
It's a Vulpix. It's gonna set Sun, and it's probably gonna die in 2 hits because Focus Sash. So, yeah.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I don't know. I wouldn't even put Focus Sash on it. You honestly want this Vulpix to get off the field. You want it to get Sun. And
True.
True. So we'll have to see what happens there. I think honestly, if I was this person, I would probably just throw Memento on every. I'd bring it out, click Memento, and see if it lives in.
Can
see
Vulpix
if it lives to even click the Memento?
I think it can. Does it get Endeavor? Does it get Endeavor?
Oh. It does not.
Oh, dang, that sucks.
It does not get Endeavor.
What's he gonna do, right? I know it gets Quick Attack, but that sucks.
Is there anything else it gets? I want this thing to have a really good use. Incinerate could be interesting, like maybe, but not really.
Burning Jealousy, maybe?
Horrendous. Its stats are horrendous, so Burning Jealousy isn't even that good.
I think we've talked about this thing enough.
I think we have to. Put Memento on it, let it die.
Yeah. Alright. Next up, we got Mesprit going to the Sakura Sylveons. So yeah, Mesprit's pretty cute.
Yeah.
It's it's in that weird like speed tier where it's like kind of fast, not really that fast. So it can be an okay Trick Room setter, and it's not bad. It's kind of a cute little mom. What do you think?
I think it's interesting. Gets access to. There's a lot of things it can actually do. It's decently bulky all on its own. It's probably not going down in 1 hit. It's offensive and it gets pretty decent coverage as well. But I'm really more interested in the amount of support options it has available to it. We got Ally Switch, Baton Pass. It can Calm Mind, Healing Wish, Helping Hand. It gets Screen Support. Skill Swap. Honestly, Skill Swap Levitate.
Ooh, that's actually fantastic. Yeah.
Something like the Gandil, even though like it really wants that Beast Boost, like that's actually like a really interesting tech that it can pull. Thunder Wave is fantastic. It can even set up Trick Room, though I don't think he benefits from Trick Room right now. Trick even is pretty decent. There's just so much. It's a very versatile Mon, especially for a C tier pick. So there's a lot that could happen here.
Yeah, I think what I suggested to her was at this point she didn't really have anything to like counter Trick Room very well, so I suggested like a few mons that were like that could imprison Trick Room. Yep. So I'm like, yeah, why not? I threw that out there as an option, and she went with Mesprit, and I don't really blame her. I mean, Mesprit's is a great mon. It's my second favorite of the Lake Trio, and yeah, I definitely agree. Mesprit is underrated for sure. Good Pokemon. All right, so next up we have Turtonator going to the Detroit Dewatts. Yeah, I like Turtonator. I'm not gonna lie, I like Turtonator. It is a cool mon. Like, it's a dumb mon, but damn it, it's cool. So,
whenever I think of Turtonator, I always think of Shell Trap, and I'm always trying to figure out how in the world can you make this work. And the one thing that I absolutely hate is that you can't self-proc it. You cannot self-activate it. It has to be one of your opponents.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame, because, like, I would love it if you were able to bulldoze Shell Trap and just get it, because Shell Trap hits both opponents. 150 base power stab. It's such a strong move. But then again, of course, it doesn't need it, is the thing.
It doesn't, no.
It's so slow that now you have something that's going to function very well in an opponent's Trick Room in case they get that up. Because you do struggle at the moment to stop Trick Room from going up with the current team that he has. So if it does go up, you have something going for you there. It can Shell Smash, of course, anytime that it wants. Super, super physically bulky, which kind of pairs well with Milotic, who does lack that physical bulk a little bit. Decent typing. My only thing about it is that it's another ground weak mon, which you now have 3 of them.
Yeah.
It's not a super big deal either, though, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
with my Milotic,
just fine.
Yeah, with my Milotic on his squad, like, he's not gonna struggle at that much with the ground types. But that is definitely a weakness that he should be trying to patch up relatively soon. So, but
also, like, honestly, like, probably some of the best, like, spread coverage in the game. You had Shell Trap, of course, but you also just get Heat Wave. You get Scorching Sands, which is a fantastic move. Draco Meteor not spread.
Does Scorching Sands hit both opponents?
Yeah, it hits
both
opponents.
I didn't know that. I learned something.
Wait, I think it does. Let me check. I need to double check. I might have actually got that wrong. I feel like it does, though.
It seems like one of those moves. But, like, at least the animation does, so, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't. That's a shame.
That sucks. Oh, wow.
That's a shame. Anyways, good mon, fantastic D tier pick. Does a lot for his particular team, so.
I like it. All right, and on the wheel coming back down, he decided to grab up Skarmory for the C tier, and, interesting. Yeah, Skarmory, I mean, we were talking about not having a ground weakness, and, hey, check it out. So, Skarmory does typically not a great mon, not a well-used mon in VGC, but I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
No. He picked up 2 very, very special, very, very physically defensive mons in a row, which is good. Skarmory isn't likely to die in one hit. It does get Tailwind, it does get Taunt, so this might be a way for him to help handle Trick Room if it ever comes around. It's also one of those mons that might be really interesting if it gets paired in with something like Excadrill. Actually, no, it's a very, very good mon to have it next to Excadrill, because that gives Skarmory a chance to either attack or set up on its own. And Excadrill can just freely click Earthquake, which is something that it doesn't have the ability to do with anything else on his team right now. Well, Mew gets Synchronized, not Levitate. I don't know why I thought he'd get Levitate, but I think Skarmory is a good pick. I'm not sure if it's what I would have picked for a flying type or for a Levitate user at this point, but like, I think it still can get a lot of use, and it does get access to good old body press, which is nice. And it gets that iron defense too, so off of base 140 defense. Yep. So there's a lot that this thing might be able to do, and I'm excited to see what happens.
For sure. All right, next up we got Xatu going to the Sakura Sylveon. So a little bit of overlap with the Mesprit and the Psychic typing, and they're similar roles, but Xatu does give her Tailwind option as well, which is nice, and Magic Bounce, which is also really important. So, yeah. What do you think? It's a cute, it's a interesting option.
It is an interesting option. I like the fact that it gets Ally Switch. It definitely needs it. Haze is interesting as well. Tailwind, of course. Trick Room. It's a weird little mon. I don't is 80 points is a C tier, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how I like it as a C tier mon, but I think it does have a lot of potential. It's a very it's one of those very specific support mon.
Yep.
It doesn't fulfill all the roles that you want a support mon to be able to fulfill, but the roles that it does fulfills very well. It has Imprisoned Trick Room. It's an all right for speed tier for where it is. So like, there's things it can do. We'll have to see what happens. An interesting thing that it might be able to do is because it has that. Oh, it does not have magic. I thought it had magic card. I was going to say.
Yeah, it's magic bounce.
Status shift would have been very interesting. It doesn't quite get that, or Psycho Shift rather, but I'm trying to remember. No, this was not the team with Fairy Train, so
no.
It's a good support mon. Probably pairs well as an alternate with Clefable. It'll be able to do some work, so
I like it. It's cute.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got Alolan Persian going to the Bronx Blastoise. I think this is a fantastic pick. Just one of the best freaking like fast fake out mons. The dark typing does great for it. Gets Parting Shot, Foul Play, and stuff like that. Just a great mon.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it works really well with the team that they already have set up right now. Fast fake out, as you said, it also has that fast swagger, which is very interesting with the Misty terrain, the Tapu Fini. Also, it picks up, that dark type, so you now have a Psychic immune, considering that there's a lot of Psychic terrain that's also going to be floating around that's really interesting, though Fini should keep it up to begin with. So it actually still pairs well with the Venusaur, which is interesting. Fake out super fast fake tears, which is really good because he has some really, really strong special attackers right now. Foul Play is never not bad. Icy Wind, knockoff. Parting Shot, also fantastic. This is probably I think it's probably the best Parting Shot user. In terms of speed. Like, yes, you have Incineroar, but Incineroar's so slow it doesn't really get to use it as much as it'd like to. Fast Taunt. Switcheroo, which is a lot of fun. You can do a lot of fun stuff with Switcheroo. And you have the Fast Charm as well.
This thing is so good.
Everything. It is a fantastic mon. Super. You'll be bringing it just about every game you bring it to.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then Foul Play brings that offense that it probably needs every once in a while. So, yeah. Great mon. It's a great mon.
Yeah, Intimidate plus Parting Shot plus Special Defense, Gudra, and Fini. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a very hard to break team. I definitely agree. So, fantastic Pokemon.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we got Talonflame going to the Jamestown Hala Hypnos. Yo, it's Talonflame. This mon has been around for a while, and it's always done pretty well. Let us know about it.
It's, once again, Gale Wing's Tailwind. So you essentially have Prankster Tailwind, which is always good. It suffers from being 4 times weak to Rock, so Rock Slides, once again, really don't like it. Rock Slides are really looking good against this team in general right now. You have Butterfree and Talonflame and Araquanid and Entei and Mr. Mime Gallagher all with the Rock moves. Which, in hindsight, this is probably a problem. But at the same time, like, all the mons are still doing a lot in the good time. It's just like you have that one big weakness, maybe. But Talonflame got access to Dual Wing Beat, which is great. It actually really appreciates that, having access to a flying type move that doesn't break its Gale Wings. Is really nice. It's just really strong in general. Good physical attack. If it can find the time, setting up a Swords Dance is always nice, though it doesn't often get the chance to do that. Acrobatics also, not that it really needs, it's already super fast. Fast Will-O-Wisp, of course, fast Taunt. Talonflame's just a really good mon.
I like it, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say. Great support mon.
Yeah.
Can go on the offense if you need it to. Good mon is good. All right, next up we got another good mon. Azumarill going to the Strawman Star Raptors. Belly Drum, Aqua Jet. God, this thing hits so hard.
Yeah, I'd love to see him pick up another Fire Week or another Water Week mon for that Aqua Jet, because weakness policy in VGC is just so good. But this mon holds up so well on it. Also, you just picked up a great Trick Room user, an alright Trick Room user. Base 50 is a little faster Trick Room, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Access to Bulldoze here's that Bulldoze mod. You have that mod now that can activate something on Zare, or if you need to, but I think 9 times out of 10 you're going to be bringing this. You're going to be bringing it to do, well, no, it gets Perish Song. This thing has a lot of use.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I can use. Perish Song is probably one of the best win conditions in VGC. I think it is anyways. And with as much offense as this team already holds, it's not going to have a hard time breaking through, getting you down to 2 mods and being able to Perish Song to try to put that timer on the game. So there's a lot of potential that Azumarill brings to this.
Also,
yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Also, another
Brutal
Swing, yeah.
Brutal
Also,
Swing
another kind of gimmicky option, kind of gimmicky, kind of good option. You get Steel Roller, and with his Rillaboom, he can fire off very strong, like 130 base power, I think it is, Steel type moves with huge power.
That it's 130 base.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. And disrupting an opponent's terrain. On top of having your own terrain, which is really good. I like that idea. But yeah, it's a good mon. It hits freaking like an absolute truck, and yeah, it does things. So what you gonna do? All right. Yep. Next up, we got Aegislash going to the Night Dazers. If you say it Aegislash, you are wrong. It is Aegislash. You are wrong. It is Aegislash. It is Aegislash. It's an Aegis. It's an Aegis. Come on. Come on, people. Learn the English. Whatever. I don't care. Anyway, A tier Aegislash. Pretty good Pokemon. Obviously it has a very good offensive move pool. Getting moves like close combat and stuff like that. This generation is great for its move pool, but it also gives him like wide card support. It gives him a really bulky mon when it's in its shield form. Good is good. I mean, what else can you say about it other than mispronounce its name? So, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. That's a bit about it. Everybody mispronounces this Bond's name, and it annoys me, but maybe I'm just the weird one, but whatever. It's Aegis. Yeah. Aegislash.
It's a good mon. It's hard to get rid of. If it's inside of its defensive form, if it's not in its defensive form, because it's just so slow to begin with. It's hitting like a truck. It's one of those mons that kind of feels hard to prep for, because it's always, you just can't get rid of it easily. You can't get rid of it easily, and it does so much in return. And especially in a doubles format where you have to decide whether or not you're going to choose to attack it. You're playing an awful game of, okay, you think you're going to King Shield this turn, let's attack the opponent. You know what? Hey, maybe it doesn't choose to do anything this turn. It just comes back and hits you again. It's just a hard mon to deal with. It's a great A tier pick.
Great mon.
Which, wow, he waited this long to pick him an A tier too. That's
yeah,
awesome.
He did. Yeah, wow. He went pretty deep into the B tiers. So yeah, but all right, Lopunny is next up, going to the Sunbury Sunfisk for his his F tier rather, 20 points. Cute little mon. I don't know. What do you think?
It is an interesting mon. I need to look more what it does. Is it only Mega Lopunny that gets scrappy?
Yeah, it's only Mega Lopunny that gets scrappy, so it doesn't get like scrappy fake out or anything like that. It doesn't get like
I know it gets Limber, but that's not useful.
Yeah. I mean it's mostly gonna be used more for its support move pool, because I mean it does have a decent support move pool.
It gets fake out, fake tears, decently fast.
So yeah, it's cute. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's an F tier mod. It's gonna triple axle and fake out, and this thing doesn't even learn a good normal type move. I actually thought about freaking drafting Lopunny in another draft a while back, just because I wanted a normal type, and then when I saw that its best like stab was freaking headbutt, I'm like, yeah, nah. So
yeah. No, it's it really suffers from not having access to return, for sure. Yeah. So
it's okay.
But it's an F tier pick. It's not a bad one either. So
yeah, not bad. All right, next up we got Vaporeon going to the route to Rattata. It's an Eevee, and it is a damn good one at that. Yeah, I mean, what else?
Yeah. It plays a very different role, I think, than it does inside of singles. Inside of singles, it's kind of there to wall, wish, and then switch out again. Kind of do its thing. It doesn't usually provide a lot offensively, and it's not going to do... It actually has some interesting potential to be able to do that inside of this format as well. I think. I don't know. It's just a good mon.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Hand. It's hard to get rid of. Haze is always good. I think it gets access to speed curls. I'm pretty sure it gets whatever the ice slowing move is. I think it gets it gets icy wind.
Yep.
Which is always nice. Stored power, which is interesting. I don't know if that actually ever has a use, but I didn't even know it got that, which is interesting.
Yeah, it gets like acid armor and stuff like that, but it doesn't have like any way to boost its special attack. So
yeah,
it's okay.
I think it's a mon that fits in well with what he has, because he does have that fire. Yeah, he has a little bit of a fire, water, grass core kind of figured out, and a bulky water at that. So there's a lot of potential here
for sure. All right, next up we got me going with the Caparaja for 80 points. Yeah,
I like the Caparaja.
Yeah, go ahead, tell me why you like my Caparaja.
That's a mon I was considering myself. It's pure steel, which I like that typing to begin with. Sheer force is fantastic as an ability, and he gets a lot of moves that he gets to do off of that. Very high HP, a little lacking on the defense and the special defense, but honestly, it doesn't really need it necessarily. It gets access to, as you said earlier, that wonderful move called Steel Roller.
Woo!
Which I wonder if that actually might get activated with Sheer Force. I don't think it works.
I don't think it does, but I mean, that's actually a good point.
Doesn't need
we
it.
might want to test that later.
It gets Heat Crash because it's a very, very heavy mon. Heat Crash, Heavy Slam, you're looking really nice. Good physical coverage moves all around. It gets just about every typing that you would ever need, to be honest. You got Bulldoze, you got Slow Bulldoze, you got Slow Brutal Swing. I'm trying to remember, you don't necessarily have much of a Trick Room team, but like, you have potential there for it. Actually, no, you have a lot of really you just need a good Trick Room setter, which you don't necessarily have yet. But
my best right now is like Diancie, so yeah. But I like it.
Your thoughts?
I like it. I like it because I mean, I just I mean, this was before I swapped out for Conkeldurr, but I didn't have a lot of physical offense on the team, and I was also seeing that I didn't really. I kind of was struggling against breaking like maybe bulky fairies. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's grab up Caparaja. It's typically a mon that I don't really like in a singles format because it has a lot of HP, like you said, but not a lot of great defenses, so it can't take hits as well. But in a doubles format, I'm able to follow me away those hits potentially. I can I can take spread moves and stuff a little bit better, so it gives me just a lot of really strong physical offense with some bulk to back it up potentially. And that was kind of like my game plan behind this pick. So,
yeah,
good mon is good. So, all right, next up we have the Nashville Nido Kings picking up Swampert, and this is definitely an interesting pick. A mon that you typically don't see like. Probably pretty much at all. I don't think I've ever seen Swampert in a VGC format, but you know what? I can see it.
Especially in a format without, especially when you don't have your own access to. Oh no, only Swampert Mega gets Swift Swim. That's weird.
Yep.
This is a weird little mon here, huh?
Yeah. It's team player. Swampert's the team player. But I mean, he did get some pretty cool moveset changes. Getting Liquidation as a stronger water stab is great. And it got Flip Turn, which is the biggest one. Yawn, Wide Guard. Okay, those are some great options.
Those are both really good.
Fantastic options right there. Yep. So I'm very interested in actually seeing how this thing does. What this thing does. I think Braves is recording their games, but I don't know for sure. But I'm interested to see how Swampert does. So
one other, I guess, kind of interesting thing that it might be able to do is something with counter mirror coat, which could be interesting.
There you go.
Then again, a lot of things get that. I don't know. It's an interesting pick for sure. It does have a high base attack. It's pretty decent actually defensively. As a ground type, you kind of get to switch into some of those things that the Charizard might not have liked.
It's very good against those rock types that he didn't have a ton of for. I mean, like he had like Kartana at this point, but Swampert just gives him another weakness or another resistance rather. So
Exactly.
it's great. I like it. I'm interested.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Sneasel going to the Ann Arbor Selgors. I actually really like this pick. I really do.
Absolutely.
This is great. Yo, let's see. Yo, tell me about Sneasel, man.
You got another fake out user on this team, which is really nice. Triple, like, it still has the attack stats to be able to abuse triple axle and stuff. I don't know, your turn. It's a good mod.
It's a cute mod. It's a
another
very
good
good little very value at that F tier. Getting Ice Shard, so you can like maybe potentially Ice Shard proc a policy on like Tornadus Incarnates or something. Get, like you said,
That's
fast
very real.
fake outs. It gets things
Knockoff.
like knockoff. Like it's just a good little freaking mod and relatively fast as well. I think it's 115 base,
Yep.
Or something like that.
115.
So yeah, it's just a cute little mod. I like it. I like it a lot. It can pack a punch in a little package potentially, and I like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have you picking up Rhydon. Interesting. All right. I'm assuming this was for like a lot of lightning rod support potentially, but it's just a good mod in general. Go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, no. So at this point, both the Raichus and Rhydon were both open, and I was on the fence for a little while about what lightning rod user I wanted. Rhyperior was also on the table, though I think I was points-wise not able to take it at that point. Not reasonably anyways, but like, I just like Rhydon as a mon. Like, with Eviolite, it's decently bulky. It still packs quite a good punch with its own high attack stat to begin with. And as a mon, like, I don't know. Rhydon's a good mon.
Yeah.
It can do good work.
Very good.
Defensive enough to take hits. It can deal them back on their own time, and it's just a good switching. So,
yeah,
it's a nice mon to be able to protect my Ludicolo.
I can agree with that for sure. Poison's not really a super offensive type, but it is one of Ludicolo's weaknesses, and Rhydon's just gonna absolutely body those.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just good mon. I mean, I don't know how often it's gonna come, but.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I like Rhydon a lot. I've used it in the past, and it did pretty well for me. I like it.
Exactly.
All right. Next up on the wheel, I think you originally had Lucario in this slot, but you ended up swapping it out for Sableye.
Yeah, something like
which
that.
was pretty cool. I really like Sableye. Sableye is the best freaking weather setter. Don't at me. It's amazing.
You're right.
It's amazing.
You are right.
So yeah, but no, Sableye does a lot more than just set the weather for you. I mean, obviously Prankster just opens it up to a lot. It gets Quash, which is gross. I hate that move so much.
Prankster Quash is one of the favorite things
so
in
good. Will-O-Wisp, like Recover, Ally Switch. You can just list off like good Prankster moves, and this mon gets it. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah, that about sums it up. It's there to do a little bit of anything and everything that I'd ever wanted to do.
Yeah, I like it for sure. All right, next up, going back up, we have Magmar versus the Ann Arbor Selgors, picking up 20 points in that F tier. Gives him a potential follow me mon with that. Or another follow me mon, I guess you could say. Yeah, he has 3 of them now. Dang. But that's okay.
He's keeping something alive. He can just bring Kyurem and 3 follow me mons.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all he needs to do.
So, it's a cute little mod. It's a cute little mod. It gets like good support. It gets like a good support move pool. It's a Gen 1 mod, so its stats aren't terrible either, and it has like a really amazing offensive move pool too. So, it's a Magmar. I mean, there's not really much else to say about it, right? So
it's there to sit there and click follow me. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
that's what it wants to do.
Pretty much. All right. Next up, we got Carbink going to the Nashville Nido Kings.
Pick this up.
I like this. I like this mod. Tell me why I like this mod, Nick. Yes, this was a C tier.
Interesting.
Tell me why I like this mod, Nick.
I'll be honest.
You don't
I'm
know.
not sure why you like it so much. I'm gonna be
Dude.
honest. It's like a good mon, but like
It can
it has
set
good
up. It's a
screens, but
good
it's
trick
slow
room
screens, so
setter.
It's not setting them up to begin with.
It's a
Does it get
good
trick-
trick room setter. It's a good
It
trick
does-
room
it is a
setter.
good
It
trick
gets
room setter.
body
Didn't know it
press.
got that.
It can be fat, and it sits there, and it's a good little cute support mon. I like it.
All right,
And
we
I
can
did
mention-
draft Dancy, so yes, I like it because I did draft Dancy. But no, but yeah, I just like Carbink. I don't know why. I cannot explain
Yeah.
exactly why I like Carbink.
Oh god.
I like it though. It's just a good little
Yeah.
freaking cute support mon, and like it gives him trick room if he wants to go
Mm-hmm.
that route, and I like it. It's cute.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know Carbink evolved into Dancy. I don't know why that was
It
missing
doesn't,
from my
it
knowledge,
doesn't.
But
It
I also
doesn't.
just realized that I can also click Eviolite, which is fantastic.
It
If only Body
can't.
Press got buffed by Eviolite, that would be something else.
It can't.
It
It
can't?
doesn't. It doesn't evolve. No, it's just
Oh, wait,
by
I thought-
itself. Nope.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's this really weird situation where in the lore of the game, a Carbink can become a Diancie, but no, they don't actually evolve. It's really
that's
dumb.
so weird.
It's really stupid. So
Okay. You know, yeah, whatever it wants to do. It's got a lot of good stuff.
No,
there.
it's not just
I'd
because
love
it's a
to
trick
see-
room. It's because it's a good support mon, and it's cute too. So
I'd
there's that.
love to do it. I'd love to see it do something like maybe guard split with the Kartana or
Yes.
something like that, or the Spectrier. I would love to see that. To make one of those mons, because he has several glass cannons on his side right now. To see that maybe be like screens are better, of course, but like I don't know, cool tech kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
pretty sure it gets wide guard as well and stuff too. It's
Mhm.
cute. I like it. All right,
maybe
next
the beam must do
up.
explosion.
Hey, it's my shiny Drampa.
I like the Drampa.
I like it. So yeah, this was very similar to my Copperaja pick. I was like, all right, I need special offense, and Drampa down there looks really good for special offense.
Mhm.
So yeah, Berserk is awesome. I can get it already has an amazing attack stat, and also it gives me Cloud 9 because
Yep.
spoiler alert, I for the first time pretty much in my draft league freaking career have not gone with weather for some reason, and so I was like, yeah, let's just not do that and let's do freaking a counter weather strategy. So I grabbed Drampa. What do you think about that?
Sap Sipper's amazing.
That too.
Gudra's amazing. Does Sap Sipper redirect as well?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Wait,
redirect.
Drampa
Okay, I
gets
didn't think
Sap
so. I want to
Sipper?
double check. Like Drampa's just a great mon. There are 14. Oh nope, 5,
It does get
16. Almost half of this. At least half of this league. We've said it several times. It's weather. This is gonna be a very weather-filled draft season, which is gonna be a lot of fun. And Drampa is just a fantastic mon in general. I love running Assault Vest on it to make it even more specially bulky. Because it really likes running those. It wants to run 4 attacks. Is what it wants to do because its coverage is just so good. It gets Glare, which is a fantastic move on the support side. Not that it needs to support in the first place, but it certainly can. It can Roost, stick around for longer. It even gets Tailwind, which is absolutely amazing.
Yep. I like it.
I think this is a very, very good value D tier pick, and it's one that's a very good reactionary pick to what has happened in the draft.
I like it.
So, yeah.
All right, next up we got Tyrantrum going to JK, and yeah, this was a pretty interesting pick. I don't think I have never seen Tyrantrum actually in draft. Like I've seen people pick it, but I've never really seen it do anything. So I'm excited to see what he can do with this. What do you think?
Yeah. Very physically bulky and very high attack stat. Plus it gets access to Strong Jaw, which it doesn't get to use as well as a lot of other Strong Jaw mons would. But like another thing that I really love is I love Rockhead. I like it as an ability because now you can just head smash for free. Assuming you're willing to risk the 80%, I suppose, but like
Yeah.
you get to click on a lot of moves that have recoil and not have to worry about it as much. It's in a really bad speed tier, but like this is also on a team that has a lot of really good ways to support Tyrantrum if it ever ends up on the field. And I think that is a weird place in VGC where it kind of will actually be able to put in a lot of work. Gets Rock Slide out Hope, right?
Oh
Good
yeah,
time it gets
there's
Rock-
no
good,
reason
gets
it
Rock
wouldn't.
Slide,
Yeah.
good. So like it gets Stab Rock Slide off a base 121 attack, which is really good. Like I'd run Band on this thing just about it. I'd run Band or Scarf just about every time I bring it. I think is what I would do at least. I think it has a very interesting place in this team, and I think it's going to put in a lot of work.
I like it. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing this one for sure. All right, next up, hey, look at that! Magmar goes in the same round that Electabuzz. I mean, it's history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's kind of funny. Like, freaking Magmortar and Electabuzz went almost back to back in the same round, and now Magmar and Electabuzz are. It's just weird. Same deal we talked about with Magmar. It gets Follow Me. Electabuzz has a good move pool. It doesn't have bad stats. It's kind of fast. Yeah. That's about it. That's all I can really think of.
Yeah, nope, it's good. It's the second NFE that he's picked so far. Electabuzz, it's a good Follow Me user. Well, it's an alright Follow Me user. There's not a lot of Follow Me users to begin with. So, like, you take what redirect you can get. Being able to Volt Switch out is really nice. That's one thing I like it over whatever the Magmar pre-Evo was, because I already forgotten what it is.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good mod.
I like it. All right, next up we got Marowak going to the Night Dazers, and this is that second Lightning Rod user you were talking about. So yeah, I think I suggested this one to him, or we were talking about it, and this was before he had the Raichu, obviously, because that was a transaction later. Like, you really do need a Lightning Rod user, and I think I suggested Rhyperior, but he didn't want to spend that many points on Rhyperior, so we decided on, like, Marowak, and I mean, I don't blame him. Marowak's great. What do you think?
Marowak is it's a good mod. It's got a lot going for it. It can hold Thick Club, of course, so instead of that little base 80 attack, it has a base 160 attack. Base 160 Earthquakes hurt a lot, as I found out when I was running calcs for my week battle this week. And it's one of those mods that, like, is kind of like, on the surface it feels very underwhelming, and you kind of just want to ignore it, but you absolutely can't, because it will absolutely wreck you. And it's got great physical coverage for what it's worth inside a C tier. Like, the only thing I'd say is holding its bad because it's speed, but considering the rest of his team, like, his team is just so very offensive and so very threatening all at the same time. And frankly, I think it pairs super well with Zoroark. Being able to fake having Lightning Rod out on the field is very, very powerful. So I think it plays very well with the rest of his team. It lets the Gyarados do its thing. You know, good mon do good things. Do mon do good things. Can't put it any better than that. I like it. God, it gets Parasong. Why
it does. It does. Yes. That's actually another great thing for it. I like that. Yeah. All right. Next up. Okay, so here it is. So this was the transaction that I was talking about. So he no longer actually has Flygon. So we're going to ignore that there's a Flygon on the screen, and we're going to talk about Inteleon that he swapped Flygon out for. So there's that mon that I was talking to you about with the synergy with Drifblim, because Inteleon does get Ice Shard. And it's an unstabbed physical Ice Shard with Inteleon being a special attacker, so it ain't gonna do freaking jack shit to Drifblim. Nope. But it's gonna proc that policy, and it's gonna proc that policy first, and then it can freaking baton pass, and like that's just so good. So, and then on top of that, just Inteleon, he also does actually have a way to do pledges with Rillaboom plus Inteleon, and correct me if I'm wrong, but grass plus water is the swamp pledge, right? Which quarters the opponent's speed. That's gross.
It's one of the best forms of speed. It's so hard to pull it off because there's so few mons that can do it, but it's one of the best forms of speed control in the game by a long shot. And like, also like, that is such a good pick for his team. I love it paired as a lead with Magmortar, because first off, Fire Water as a lead is really nice. You're covering a lot of threats between the two mons. And like, whichever one, like, if Magmortar's gonna be doing well, you can switch to Inteleon out to something else. But if Inteleon's doing well, Magmortar just gets to follow me. And that Inteleon can can start setting up, because don't forget he gets Sniper, which is super strong.
Oh, he
also gets Snipe Shot.
Oh my god, he just brought up another point. Soak.
That's a lot of
Soak plus Rillaboom and Zeraora? Dude. That's gross. But yeah, snipe
Oh,
shot
wow.
though, like not being able to be redirected too, like wow, dude, that's fantastic. But yeah,
No,
so
Inteleon is a fantastic pick. That just made this team. This is already one of the best drafts. I think that's probably one of the smartest transactions that we've seen so far.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, that yes, Inteleon with wings, yes, indeed. But yeah, so yeah, like that's what I was talking about. So yeah, I'm glad that you approve of that transaction because I agree. Like that's an amazing transaction, for sure, and it gives him just a lot in a C tier mon. Like a ton of options, like on its own, but then it just synergizes so dang well with the rest of his team, and yeah, fantastic transaction there. All right, so let's get Inteleon off the screen. So next up, though, we have Jellicent going to the Jamestown Hall of Hypnos, and Jellicent's fantastic. I do hope that he runs the female Jellicent because female Jellicent is awesome, but I mean, it's okay. Male Jellicent's good too. So, but yeah, tell us a little bit about Jellicent.
It's interesting. It's a super bulky mon, of course. Everyone knows that. It's that other bulky water along with my Milotic and Vaporeon that you get to see drafted a lot. It's my least favorite of the three, but it's also a ghost type, which has its own value all on its own. Plus, it has a decently high. It's not a super high attack stat, but like it can sit. It's not just dead on the field. Besides being bulky, it gets to actually throw out some moves. Scalds are really nice. It gets Destiny Bond, which is really interesting, I suppose. Strength Sap is really good. That's not something that we've talked about a lot. Going back to the Blossom from earlier, because now I thought about that. Forget that it gets Strength Sap.
Strength Sap,
which is really nice, as both recovery for itself and also to weaken the opponent. Will-O-Wisp is great. It also gets Trick Room, which is really interesting. Not a lot on his team right now that really likes Trick Room, but it gets it itself. It doesn't unfortunately get. Oh, it gets imprisoned. Never mind, it does get imprisoned, which is really nice.
It also gets Water Spout, which is a really strong like offensive option as well. I believe it gets Soak. So like Soak with the on Reggie with it doesn't? Ah, dang, that sucks.
It does not. No, I thought it did as well.
Dang, that sucks. Yeah,
it's
Reggie.
It's a mon that can come out and be useful. It probably pairs really nicely with Entei. Try to keep the water and the Talonflame, honestly, to keep water moves at bay because it has that nice water absorb. A little bit at least. Does it get ally switch? It does not.
It does not. Ooh, that's interesting.
But it's a good mon. It's there to sit there, be fat, be annoying.
Entrainment Araquanid with Water Spout. Sure. That just sounds gross.
Oh, that does sound awful.
But yeah. Oh man. Alright, so there's that. Next up we got Golisopod going to the Bronx Blastoise. Yo! Go ahead and talk about this. I think this was a snipe for you, so let's go ahead.
Not a snipe for me, not this
okay.
time. I've drafted in other leagues. I just love Golisopod though. Like, I don't know, it's a cool mon. I know everyone hates its ability. I think it's a cool ability. I think it has like utility every once in a blue moon. But like, I don't know. Having stab first impression with 125 attack is a lot of damage to deal with. It gets Aqua Jet, which looking at his team, maybe not. I don't think you're going to see a lot of self-proc off of that, but it's definitely a thing that still exists.
Yeah.
I really like Golisopod specifically for the first impression and also being able to have that switch out later on. Because it's something that your opponent does have to deal with, and being able to switch it out into something else and bring it back later to first impression again instead of doubles, I think is really nice. So, yeah.
All right, so yeah, I just think it's a good freaking mon in general. It's bulky. I think Emergency Exit does have more of a utility in a VGC setting too. So there's that. But yeah, I like it. I like it for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got Quillfish going to the Sakura Sylveons. This gives her another Intimidator, third one at this point.
3.
So
wow,
that's really good. The biggest downside though, the Quillfish, is why did they not give this poor little guy Flip Turn? I'm so sad that Quillfish didn't get Flip Turn, but I mean it's still a cute little mon. grounded poison isn't really as important in VGC, and like hazards aren't really as great in VGC. But she does come from a singles background, so I mean maybe that was something he was thinking about there. But it gives her a little bit of a bulky water. Quillfish isn't the best bulky water, but Intimidate certainly helps with that. And you know what? 3 Intimidates, why not? So
yeah, and you have Aquajet too for the Crocodile if you want to have fun with that.
Ooh, yes.
Unfortunately, I was trying to look around to see if it had access to one of those automatic crit moves. It does not from the looks of it, unfortunately.
No.
It's still a good mon though. I definitely like the other Intimidators quite a bit more, but Quillfish definitely will have its place.
Yeah. Quillfish is not a bad bulky water, but the problem with it is it doesn't have reliable recovery. Yeah, there we go. So it doesn't have reliable recovery, so we can barely kind of call it a bulky water. So I guess there's that. But yeah, and T-Wave is nice, I guess. All right. Next up, we got Detroit DeWatts picking up Tangrowth, and this is an interesting one.
Oh, let's take a look at this.
So yeah, it gets Rage Powder, so it gives him redirection, which is nice for sure. Gives him just
he was missing that.
A really bulky, freaking physically bulky mon. We were talking about him having a ground weakness. Very few things take care of ground Pokemon better than Tangrowth, and I got a little bit of feedback, but that's okay. But anyway, ground types do not want to deal with a Tangrowth. It's just super bulky. It's super fat. Hits pretty dang hard. Gives him redirection support too. So I like it.
Yeah, it's a mon that's going to work really well with this team, especially since he has those ground problems. Most things that are going to be clicking, any stab ground mons don't want to be dealing with Tangrowth at all. Because it's still like we think of Tangrowth normally for its passive, being able to stick around and be annoying, but like it still has a 110 base special attack. It still does a lot of damage. There's a lot of potential for this thing to be really useful and really annoying. I think it's a perfect pick. I think it's a perfect fit for his team, especially like I even like the chlorophyll on it because especially since there is so much competing sun to deal with. Tangrowth could also be a good mon to bring for those situations as well.
For sure. I like it a lot. And so I think... Yes, sweet. All right. I think I got it set up right. So, all right. We're in the final stretch here. So, Dubwool going at pick 97 for 40 points. Talk to us about Dubwool.
Oh, Dubwool is probably the most underrated mon and the most underrated pick in this draft, I think. It's just such a good move. Fluffy is fantastic as an ability to start with. Bulletproof less useful. I've seen Bulletproof be useful in singles before, but like the big thing with what you do with Dubwool has one game plan. You come in, you cotton guard, you body press.
Yep.
If you want to have fun, go and throw a Chesto Berry on there as well and throw some Rest and Sleep Talk. Like you don't use it as much, but like still, like it's just if this thing sets up a cotton guard, you're not getting rid of it ever.
I like it.
And it can set up in 2 turns and have max defense body presses just thrown around wherever it wants. So, like, I love Dubwool. I think it's a great mon. I think it was a great pick.
Yeah, for sure. Good mon. It is a sheeper pick for sure. Yes, Camel. Ha ha ha. So, all right. Rotom Frost going next for the Sakura Sylveon. So, down at D tier for 40 points. I think that this was pretty dang good value. Not bad. I mean, it is a Rotom. It's one of the weaker Rotoms. And, Blizzard is far from a reliable move, but, it does everything that the Rotoms can do. It can Will-O-Wisp, it can Ally Switch, it can Pain Split, it can, just do a lot of different things, and, Volt Switch around and stuff like that. I think the reason that we had it down in F tier, because it is very weak to a lot of common spread moves, Rock Slide and Heat Wave, of course, but, it's still a decent mon. It's pretty bulky. It can hit hard too. It's not bad. What do you think?
I think you about summed it up. It's a good mon. It really, really wants Hail to be up, and because those blizzards are not very accurate, but like It gets an all-right set of coverage. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It does its thing. It's
Yeah.
a Rotom.
All right, next up we got the Bronx Blastoise picking up Luxray. Not too bad. Go ahead, tell us about
It
it.
made me unnecessarily happy when I saw them pick up Luxray, because I like
Nice.
Luxray. I specifically like Guts. I like Guts Luxray because I feel like it has potential. Because it has a 120 base attack, which for considering the rest of its stats, like, it's in just such a bad spot. I love the design of this mod, and I like to see it get used, so I was really happy when I saw someone pick it up. Is that his, this is his first Intimidator.
Yep.
Which is something that his team really likes.
Oh no,
being
he does have
electric-type
he does have
doesn't necessarily bring a whole
Arcanine.
lot.
He does have Arcanine, so this is his second
there's Arcanine
Intimidator.
too. Yeah, so it's second one. I overlooked that. It's a mod that honestly gets all right coverage. Guts gives it potential to be a very good physical attacker. It really lacks in speed. That's its biggest problem for sure. And he doesn't gain a lot, I think, necessarily from having an electric type on this team. But I'm still glad to see him take the pick for sure.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Feeney does get in the way a little bit of his gut stuff, but you know that's cool.
Does Misty Terrain prevent Flame Orb?
Yeah, it will prevent it from proccing. So
Okay.
yeah, so there's that. But all right. Next up, we have Cramorant going to the Jamestown Hall of Hypnos. I don't know.
Water. This year like a third water, another water fly. Well, no, your first water fly. There's a lot of electric type problems on this team right now.
Yeah.
Which could be. I mean, you have the Regieleki at least, so you don't have to worry about that. But there's a Tapu Koko going around. We just saw the Luxray. I'm worried about how weak this team is to electric type moves right now. I'd love to see something
rock.
picked up for that last slot that helps. So
Yeah.
a lot of weaknesses across the entire team. As a standalone pick, I really like Cramorant because I think that its ability is particularly strong in a draft setting. But I think it's strong in any setting. But it just gets a quick surf, hit both mods, and then it gets to automatically do damage back. And it's not, outside of electric moves, it's just bulky enough to not really get one shot. So odds are you're going to get to do it twice.
It's
Yeah.
cute.
I don't know what role it plays in this team in particular. But I don't dislike it as a pick. I think it's cool. I think it's cool mod. I like Cramorant. I think I'm glad they added it to Sword and Shield, and I like seeing it get picked and used.
I suppose he could pair it with Jellicent, you know, go for his Surfs, you know, water absorb up the Jellicent. I guess it's a decent pairing. I kind of agree, though. He has a huge electric weakness now, right after he also has a huge rock weakness, and this just compounds both of those weaknesses. So
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see, though.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a hard time prepping with this team, and opponents are going to have a much easier time prepping against him than he's going to have on the return. So
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not going to do well, but it's definitely going to be difficult.
For sure. All right, next up we got Gothorita going to the Strawman Staraptors. Yes, it can run Trapping. And yes, it can run Eviolite. And yes, it is going to be an annoying Pokemon. Yeah.
It's one of those mods that you're always going to bring with you just to show inside of the team preview. There we go. I also like it, like I mentioned earlier, I learned that Azumarill learns Pear Song, so trapping plus Pear Song is always nice. Especially considering that Gothorita has a lot of staying power all on its own. And paired with a little bit of redirection or other things to help bulk it up, like you could definitely get some KOs that way. Or just trap things in there with it that it just wants to stick around with. Like, I like Gothorita as a pick, having a psychic type that still does honestly decent damage. It's no Gothtail, but it still does decent damage all on its own. I think there's potential there.
Yeah, for sure. I like it a lot. All right, next up we got Pangoro going to the Night Dazers. I like Pangoro a lot. Like this was actually one of the suggestions that I made to him. So like he asked like, what about fighting types? And I'm like, you know what, you could use definitely a good fighting type, and I think Pangoro is fantastic. It's not the fastest mon, but it does get scrappy, so it's immune to Intimidate, and its fighting type moves are going to hit its target no matter what, which is just amazing. I really like this pick, and I'm very interested in seeing what it can do. It does, of course, have other abilities, like, you know, Mold Breaker is also very good, and it just has a good move pool as well. Even gets a little bit, it even gets a little bit of priority with Bullet Punch, which is cool, I guess. It doesn't
that's
have
very useful.
Yeah, it doesn't. He doesn't have anything that he can proc with the Bullet Punch, but it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, you still got Iron Fist as an ability, so like that's like essentially a base 60, I think.
Yeah,
I think Bullet Punch is base 40 normally, so like that's a base 60 priority move, steel type move. So it's really nice against the fairies. No, Pangoro fits his team. Thanks a lot for suggesting that to him. I'm loving to facing it tomorrow.
Yeah. Fun fact: Pangoro can hit every single mon super effectively. Really? Its move pool is that good. That's cool. That's a very cool fun fact to know. I like that.
Yay.
So.
Looking forward to it.
But yeah, good mon. I'm happy that he did that. Move pool plus abilities. Okay, I got you. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, nice. Next up, we have Kingler going to the Sunbury Sunfisks. This is a cute little pick. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about Kingler.
Firstly, we're not going to see it. Like, G-Max Santa Kingler is kind of cool.
Yes, it is.
If you've ever seen that before. Sheer Force is a great ability, and he has a lot of really good moves to use it with. It's a Swift Swimmer. Also, no, it's not a Swift Swimmer. That's a shame. I thought it was Swift Swimmer for a minute there.
It gets Hyper Cutter, though, which is really nice.
Like,
gives it immunity to Intimidate.
Very nice.
So.
Which just about every Intimidator that's out there was drafted inside of this draft.
Pretty much.
But lacks a little bit on the speed, but it hits like a truck. What more do you need? You have Fletchinder out there to set up the speed that you need for it anyways, like having Water Stab is actually something that you didn't really have yet, which is kind of nice. Like, I think typing and move pool wise, you got a lot of offense from this that you're missing. So it's a good pick.
Yeah, gets other options like Wide Guard, apparently Ally Switch too. Sure, okay. Why not? So yeah, it's a cool little value. I think this is going to be some great value for him on his team here for his for a D tier pick. Not bad at all.
Also, his team really appreciates Wide Guard as well, because there's a lot of spread moves that his opponents are going to bring. Rock Slide, Earthquake, Surf, all of those are looking really, really good against this team, and having access to a Wide Guard. Blizzard is a big one. As well as Icy Wind, to be honest. And having Wide Guard is actually a really good deterrent.
For sure. So, I like it. Next up, we got Drapion going to the route to Rattata. This is an interesting pick. I do not think I've ever seen Drapion used in a VGC format, like, ever. So I
don't think I have either.
No idea what this thing's gonna do. Does it get like Wide Guard or anything like that? So
I don't think it gets Wide Guard. It can still do like normal Drapion stuff, Sword Stance Up, Grounded Poison, though that's not necessarily important.
Yeah.
Keen Eye, not particularly useful. Sniper might be interesting, but it doesn't really get any good ways to use that. It's a D tier pick, so I guess really it's there to. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure exactly what else it would be used for.
Okay, so apparently someone.
Sword is nice, taunt.
Apparently someone made top cut at Players Cup 1 with the Drapion on his team. It was
what did it do?
Critting set with Sniper. Okay.
Interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Another really fun thing, and something that I really thought about doing on my own team but didn't end up doing, is it gets acupressure, which is really interesting because you can do that to you can do that to your ally. Which is something I did not know you could do. So
I did not know that either. Yo, getting all the knowledge here today.
No, because I seriously considered picking up. There was a mon I really wanted to draft that I absolutely loved. I was gonna pick up Shuckle. So I was gonna use Shuckle and acupressure things. But my team doesn't actually benefit from it necessarily. But there's definitely some value. I'm very interested in what that set was for the regionals or for the Players Cup team. But that's pretty cool.
Interesting. All right, next up we have my pick of Centiskorch. I have never used Centiskorch competitively in any way. I did use one on my playthrough team, but that's about it. And I'm really interested in seeing if I can make Centiskorch work. I think it's just a really cool Pokemon. It has it has like a lot of good things going for it potentially. You know, it gets Fire Lash to lower defense. You know, gets Leech Life for some recovery. It gets Coil. It can run Flash Fire for a nice fire immunity. You know, with all of the fire moves flying around from the Sun teams, that's gonna be great. I can also run White Smoke if I want to ignore Intimidates and stat drops and stuff too. So yeah, I think that Centiskorch is to me probably my value D tier pick, if not Drampa. But yeah, I think this is one of my favorite picks of the later part of the draft.
I think that about sums it up. Centiskorch is just a great mon. I love it. I like it more in singles than I do inside of VGC, but like, it still just does so much. It does a couple things specifically, but it does those couple of things really, really well.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, next up we got Guzzlord going to the Nashville Nido Kings. You know, the big boy himself. So, Guzzlord, my least favorite Ultra Beast, because I don't know. It just looks really freaking stupid. So, I mean,
that's a valid reason.
It looks really stupid. It shares a typing with one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, that being Hydreigon, and it just does not do as well as Hydreigon. So
No.
I don't know.
It's in a weird spot with its speed and its move pool that isn't particularly flattering for it.
Yeah.
Because 43 is just a little bit too fast for true Trick Room. It's a little too, and it's not fast enough to do anything at all. To be honest, but it's an interesting mod. He does have potential to use it in Trick Room now that he picked up that Carbing, so he actually has a user for it now. And with its massive HP stat, it's also not a bad.
Shoutouts to Aquarius.
Very nice.
So yeah, but go ahead. Sorry, I had to do that.
Nah, you're good. It's yeah. I don't know. It's a mon.
It's really fat.
I think it's good.
So
I think
yeah,
it's good. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a good pick. I do think it's a good pick. I just don't know how good it's gonna be. We'll see. I wish he could run weakness policy on it, as bulky as it is. But he also doesn't have a way to self proc. So, and it really doesn't have the defenses to help itself out either.
Yeah, I don't see any way to self proc unless he wants to go for like a draining kiss on it or something. That just sounds like a terrible idea.
It does. It does get wide guard.
It does. It does get wide guard. He can use it under Trick Room. With the setting up with the Carbink, I guess. It's okay. I like it. It's something that I was actually considering for my own draft, but then I picked up Drampa instead. So yeah.
It's a mon that I feel like is like really, really close to being good, but it just really isn't.
Yeah.
So normally. So yeah. Let's hope we can get some use this time.
Gaze for Guds. Love it. All right. Next up, we got Gallade going to the Ann Arbor Selgors, and I don't really know much about Gallade, but it is a good Pokemon, nonetheless. I know that it has an amazing move pool, so I'm not surprised to see this mon pick up. What do you think?
No, it's a really good mon. Really good, because I was looking at it for a while as well, because I was looking for my Justified user, which I ended up going with Cobalion. The thing that holds it back more than anything is a base 80 speed.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big deal. It is a D tier pick, and it's a very good D tier pick. He doesn't have a way that I'm aware of to be able to really use Justice. Actually, that Sneasel gets beat
Sneasel does get beat up, yeah.
So, there you go. That's a really, really good set of moves for this. So I'd say Glade's actually a really, really good pick. But that's really what it does. It has a good physical and special move pool for that matter. It's just a little slow normally to make use of it. But combine it with Sneasel, and it's something that you always have to be prepared for.
Yeah. I like this pick a lot. I'm very interested in seeing what it can do, but I don't know exactly what it will do, but we'll see. All right, next up, you picked up Purloin. And you know what?
Yep.
I gotta say, I respect the hell out of this pick. Liepard is one of my favorite Pokemon for, like, literally no reason, but
Mhm.
it did let me kill a G-Max Inteleon in a league. So,
Mhm.
you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like Liepard, and Purloin is pretty much just Liepard light, without the offenses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you just got it for prankster shenanigans, and you know what? It gives you a second way to set up rain too. So I don't know. Talk
Yep.
to me about it
I
a
was
little.
looking for a value D tier that I could use as switch, and I was really initially just looking for an Intimidator. So I was trying to decide between Herdier and Scraggy, both of which also I think are really good. I think someone picked up Scraggy later, if I remember right.
Somebody picked up.
I really
Herdier.
wanted
Yeah.
Herdier. Okay, I love Herdier. Personally, if it only got fake out, it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it does not. But you all, while I was taking my couple of hours to make a pick and everyone was annoyed at me, they started making suggestions for us to pick, and one of them suggested Purloin. And boy, am I glad they did, because it's kind of interesting, because it's pretty, in hindsight, it's a little bit, it's very similar to what Sableye does,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, which is not necessarily the best thing, but it does get some fun stuff to do as well. It gets Prankster Copycats, which might be able to have fun. Prankster Fake Tears is always good. So it does have different role than it can play than Sableye.
Also,
I'm not
Prankster
sure how often I'm gonna
Thunderwave.
bring it. Prankster Thunderwave is fantastic. It plays a very different role and can play a very unique role in the team. I'm not sure how often I'm actually going to bring it, so we'll see how long it actually sticks around, to be honest. But it's still a good one.
Yeah.
So.
I like it a lot. It's cool. And all right, so going into the last round, the last pick for you was Mr. Rhyme for 40 points. Yeah.
Yep.
What do you know?
It's kind of interesting. I'm surprised I picked this. I'm not surprised I picked this up. The idea behind picking it up is, you know what? I want to make Dragon Pulse scary. You know what gets Ice Shard into scary? Mr. Rhyme. Also just a great support mon. It gets the Light Room and the Reflect. It was around this time I figured out that Mr. Mime Galar had unfortunately been taken from me.
Oof.
Way long ago, like several days ago, but you know, it's fine. my own fault for not paying attention, but, you know, it's good mon. Nice
Yeah.
support mon.
It's a good
That's all
support
there
move
is to
full.
it.
Yeah, like you said, gives you a way to proc the policy on Pult, gives you fake out, screen cleaner. You lose the fire weakness under rain, like he's saying there. Like I like it. I like it. I think it fits your team very well, for sure. All right.
Good last round pick.
Next up, we got
Yes.
Cursula going to the Ann Arbor Selgors. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I love Cursula as a Pokemon. I think that this is one of my favorite new Pokemon. The biggest problem I have with Cursula is it doesn't learn Trick Room, and I am so upset about that. Because if this Mon could set its own Trick Room, it would be horrifyingly good. But,
Agreed.
I mean, it's... Unfortunately, he doesn't have his own Trick Room that he could do, but
No,
he
which
can,
is really interesting.
Yeah, he can, I guess, technically set it with Porygon Z, but, like, eh.
That's not what Porygon Z wants to do.
Yeah, I guess Gallade could too, but, yeah, there's that. But, I mean, he could also run things like Weak Armor. So you could run, like, a Weak Armor set. Gallade can proc with Shadow Sneak, potentially, a weakness policy.
Sneasel. Don't
and
forget
Sneasel too.
Sneasel beat up. Sneasel beat up all of a sudden. This is now a +6
Yep.
Cursula. Also -4 defense, but this is still actually now. This is now a Cursula that's actually outspeeding most of the field. Yeah. Which is actually kind of crazy.
So, yeah.
And it has a massive special attack stat and great coverage to back it up too. So.
Sneasel
gets
with
Meteor
defense.
Beam, so Power or Meteor Beam could be interesting.
Cursula honestly might just die from the beat up, maybe. I don't know. But hey, it's an option, guys. It's an option. Come on now.
Didn't say it was good.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's a cute idea. It's a cute idea. I love Cursula. It really is one of my favorite new Pokemon, and I did actually use it in in one of my Let's Plays for a little bit. I did like a Spook Lock. I called it. It was like an egg lock with only ghost type Pokemon, and I ended up hatching 2 Corsolas, and I evolved one into a Cursula, and it was actually pretty legit. So there's that.
Honestly, I want to know. I think that this thing might actually kill it. Beta might actually kill it.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat, go ahead and calc that. We'll do that later. Yeah. Go for it. All right.
Idea, at least.
All right. Next up, we got Rotom Heat.
It's so dead.
Oh my
god.
You
understand. It's so dead. Go ahead.
We got Rotom Heat going to the Nashville Nido Kings for the last pick. Go ahead and drop the calc in the chat, like if you guys want to. I don't care.
Well, no, it's weird though, because it depends on the Mon's attack stat.
I guess.
So like a Sneasel 20 base power, no attack investment does like 30%.
Jesus, dude.
And then it's also dropping its attack every time, so like.
Oh, that sucks.
It's bad.
Hey, it's an option. It's an option.
It is an option.
Rotom Heat, though, so that's also another option as well. So he saved 120 points for the end to get Rotom Heat, which competitively, this is my favorite Rotom. My favorite Rotom overall is Rotom Mo. Fun fact, I guess you can say, but I think Rotom Heat is just fantastic. Overheat, it just hits so hard. It gives him fire offense if he doesn't want to bring Charizard. It gives him a Volt Switch around. Like, it's just a good Mon, and it synergizes super well with Swampert as well. Like, so like he has like usually turning doesn't do, like, U-turning, flip turning, stuff like that doesn't do that great in EGC, at least as far as I know. But having a flip turn Volt Switch core there with Swampert and Rotom Heat is just really strong on its own. But and then it just gets all of the other normal Rotom stuff. You can burn stuff, it can go for ally switch, it can nasty plot, it can set up screens, blah 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 blah. It's a good freaking Rotom. What you gonna say, right?
Yeah. I was surprised it was Rotom Heat instead of Rotom Wash taken. Because I feel like Rotom Wash I like better as a fit within the team. I think it appreciates having really strong water moves. Because I feel like you have 2 good sources of strong fire. But kind of like you said, like Swampert, it does pair nicely with Swampert. And Rotom Heat in general is normally considered the better of the Rotoms inside of VGC setting. So either of them is going to work really well.
Yep. So I like it for sure. All right, next up we have my last pick, and that's going to be Dusknoir. So we were talking about I didn't have the most reliable Trick Room setter. Previously, it was just Diancie. I think Dusknoir is an amazing Trick Room setter. What do you think?
It's an interesting Trick Room setter. I don't know. It's bulky enough to get the job done. It is bulky enough to get the job done, and that's the important thing. Plus, it doesn't. It's a threat on its own too. Kind of like base 100 attack is really good. It's no Dusclops, but it definitely gets the job done.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously,
and it doesn't just sit there. That's the important thing. It doesn't just sit there and be useless afterwards. So.
Yeah, obviously, Dusclops was pretty high tiered. I think we had it in like A.
It's an S.
I don't think it was S. I believe it was A.
No. Okay.
So yeah, but because we were talking about that, but we put Dusclops and Porygon 2 in A. So having a C tier Dusknoir, which it's not as bulky, obviously, but if I don't have to worry about my Eviolite getting knocked off. Dusknoir hits way harder, so I can set up Trick Room and be offensive. It got all the same support move pool. And yeah, I just think Dusknoir fit this team, like as my Trick Room setter so well. Like Ghost type can't be faked out. It's just a good Mon, and that's all I really gotta say about that. So
yeah, nope, that about sums it up. I don't know. You could also looking around his move pool. This is dumb, never used it, but like telekinesis on Kakarasha.
What the heck?
Self-magnetize?
Yes,
I don't know.
totally.
Anyways. Sure.
All right. Next up, we got Doublade going to JK, and yeah, this was another one of those mons that kind of fell through the cracks that we probably shouldn't have had in F tier, but whatever, it's there now. So like, what you gonna do? So, yeah, we got Doublade. It's a good Pokemon. I mean, it's really strong. You know, it gets no guard, I guess, which doesn't really do anything. I think it's Rock
Not for
Slide.
everybody,
I think it's Rock Slide.
Oh,
so
that's actually not bad.
that's not bad.
It's a little slow for it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
yeah, there's not Trick Room on the team, but that's fine.
Shadow Sneak. I don't think there's nothing
Doesn't
that
have
he
any
can
really
proc
good
with.
self-proc.
Yeah, but it's good. Oh, I just realized he
Yeah.
can self-proc. He can self-proc a Tyrantrum weakness policy with a Alolan Ninetales Ice Shard.
Ooh, yeah.
That's scary.
No, it can't. Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
Does Rock? Yeah, Rock doesn't resist ice, does it?
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
So
Yeah. So
I just realized that.
definitely
So yeah, but yeah,
can. That's an
Doublade.
interesting thought.
Doublade, F tier Pokemon, probably
Great
shouldn't have
F-tier.
been F tier. Gives him wide guard, gives him potential offense. Yeah, good mon is good. All right, last S tier. We have Heatran going to the Sunbury Sunfist. So I think it was after like round 4 or something like that. Everybody else had picked X tiers. So he had no reason not to just wait until the end to get his S tier, and he ended up grabbing up Heatran, and yes, that is absolutely right. He can run Eruption Heatran with any nature he wants in this league. That's gross.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, that's a thing, and that's gonna be terrifying to freaking go up against.
Oh,
so
for sure.
yeah, like obviously
I'm trying to figure out where it fits in his team right now, because normally you pick up Heatran as a Flash Fire mon to help shore up specific weaknesses to fire. At least in my mind, that's normally what you do. But like, this is just such a good mon in general.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives him just, you know, insanely powerful offense. You know, he has the Sun from the Torkoal, Eruption. He can, you know, self-proc stuff with Lava Plume potentially. You know, it's just a good mon, and I mean, it's a Heatran. It's not going. It doesn't have to be put into that Eruption role all the time. So like, it can do a lot of things, and yeah, what can you do? That's a good point. If he had Tailwind, oh wait, he does have Tailwind. He does have Tailwind. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But Cinder.
Oh, that's gross. So, yeah. But you know, this is gonna be scary. This is gonna be a very scary team to prepare for, I think.
For sure.
Just so offensive.
Lava Plume does hit allies.
It
as well.
does.
Okay, that's what
it
I was
does
wondering.
indeed.
Yeah. So let's activate. Like, no, those two work really well together. Yeah, this is interesting. Ground types are still going to be a problem for it, perhaps, but we'll see what happens. This is scary.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, next up we have freaking Jigglypuff going for 20 points.
Hey, that's 20 points of follow right there.
It doesn't get Follow Me.
Oh, never mind.
But it gets Friend Guard.
Don't get that.
So that's the reason he wanted it. And this is literally all I have to say. Yeah.
Parasong. Parasong is
okay, that's cute. But he already had a Parasong mon with Marowak, so...
True. Yeah. Jigglypuff is interesting.
Okay, it gets Ally
This is a
Switch,
mon
there you go.
that's definitely going to suffer from All My Friends Are Dead.
Yep.
If it ends up, it's not something that poses an immediate threat.
It doesn't pose a threat at all. What are you talking about? It's a freaking Jigglypuff.
It doesn't pose a threat. It does just kind of sit around and force 50-50s. But it's still like I think it's good for. I think it's a good D tier pick.
That's fair.
I'm not looking forward to it.
It's fair, I guess. Let's go. All right.
It's a
Next
Jigglypuff.
up, we got Mawile going
I mean,
to.
I like the Jigglypuff better than the Mawile.
Oh no! No! We do not disrespect Mawile here. Mawile probably should not have been F tier, but you know what? We put it. Yes, Mawile is actually fantastic. I don't think. Yo, get out of here, M-Man. Somebody time him out.
Hey, someone's backing me up. Okay, I'll take it.
Mawile is actually really good. So yeah, it gets Intimidate. It can potentially go on offensive with Sheer Force, but it's always going to go for Intimidate. It has a really good move pool. It gets stuff like Fake Tears. It gets Super Fang. It gets Taunt. Like it's just a good mon. Good typing. Arguably the best typing in the game. The type combination rather in the game.
Right behind Dark Fairy.
Yeah, obviously it's outclassed by his Mega far and away, but I love just Mawile normally. I already liked Mawile before it had a Mega. I can't really tell you why I like Mawile, but I mean, it's just a good little Pokemon, and like this is absurdly good value, I think, for 20 points, personally. Yeah, I think that this was probably the biggest mistake that I personally made, was putting it this low, but you know what, that's okay. I like Mawile a lot. People can hate on her, but I think it's an amazing Pokemon, and yeah. Go ahead, talk shit about Mawile for a little bit.
Nah, you're right. It's an all right F tier. I don't like it as much as the other Intimidate users. It gets Sucker Punch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Mawile.
It's a Mawile.
Its Mega is so much better.
It's good. It's not bad though. It's not bad. All right. Next up, we got Sharpedo going to the Jamestown Holohypnos. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is kind of a weird choice. Like
all I see is another electric week.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Sorry to jump on the team. It's still not a bad team. It's just
no.
I don't like Sharpedo.
Yeah,
I don't like Sharpedo in general.
This team.
It does get. Yeah, well, nope. It doesn't even get Baton Pass.
Oh, it doesn't. No.
No.
I don't know.
It's Destiny Bond. Speed Boost Destiny Bond could be something, I guess.
Cute.
But like.
I don't know. That's all I got to say about this. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, yeah,
anyone else got any insight?
It's there.
6 electric weaknesses.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, yes.
All right,
Yeah,
next up, the last pick for Bucks is going to be Palossand for 80 points. This is a mon that I really like. I really like Palossand.
Nope. I have a soft spot in my heart for Palossand.
Yes,
after
you
last
do.
Season.
Yes, you do. And who was
Does
who
he
was
have-
it that suggested you get Palossand? What again?
Pretty sure it's Man, right?
Yeah, sure it was. Yeah, the guy that wasn't even in the league yet. I'm
Oh,
sure.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Freaking get out of here, that garbage. But no, Palossand's fantastic. Really bulky. Trick Room potential gets Shore Up, which is amazing. It's just really good. It's just a good mon.
I thought about picking up Palossand again, and I thought about taking Excelgor with it, because Excelgor plus Palossand is a really nice combo with Water Shuriken.
Mm-hmm.
To proc that Water Compact and make Palossand really scary in that way, but that really only works with Dynamax. From when I was running calcs and trying to see if that would actually work, it really needs Dynamax to work. But it's still an entirely good mon all in its own right. Scorching Sands is a fantastic move. It's nice bulky ground. Yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah, that's true actually. If swap out the Vulpix for like a Ninetales, and this draft would be amazing in singles. This would be a busted draft in singles for sure. Yeah, that's cool. So, all right. So next up, we have the Sakura Sylveons picking up Rapidash Galar. Talk to us about this Pokemon. I think
this was a mon. Yeah, this was a mon that I was actually looking at, because I was looking for. Here's the thing. There's not a lot of like even relatively good fairies in the low tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you've gone this far and haven't picked up a fairy, which doesn't apply to him, it doesn't apply to the Sylveons at all in this case because they have the Clefable.
Yeah.
But Rapidash, it's still a decently fast mon, 105 base speed, 100 base attack, and this is an F tier mon.
Mhm.
Anticipation might have some use. I think you probably end up running Pastel Veil either way, I guess, kind of. It's a weird mon. Its abilities don't really bring a lot to the table, but it has enough going for it on its own. Because you really can't afford to leave it alone too much. It's barely fast enough where it can start to do some work. It gets Heal Pulse, which is interesting.
Okay, that's good.
It gets Heal Pulse and Ally Switch, which are both interesting in terms of support. It gets Imprison, but it doesn't get Trick Room, unfortunately. So no, it does. So it has Imprison Trick Room.
Oh, nice.
It also has Baton Pass, which is really interesting because it has access to Calm Mind and Swords Dance, and it's relatively fast, and it doesn't normally pose enough of a threat either, compared to the other mons on his team to be a target. So it's a great mon.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that's good.
And still, once again, left alone on itself, its own move pool is not horribly bad. It gets Smart Strike, like its physical coverage is really good, to be honest. I think this is a mon that actually is a really good low tier F tier pick, and there's a good reason I was considering it.
Yeah.
So,
Does it get Mystical Fire? That's a good question.
It does. It does. Yes.
It does. Okay, that's good. That's good then.
Yeah.
Good support there.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you turned me around on it. I like it. I do.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. There's the last pick, your little boy Herdier. This was a transaction he made in grace period, and I respect it. I like it. It's a cute little freaking pick. So not only does it also still get Sand Rush, I'm pretty sure, but it gets Intimidate. So he can go for like Sand Rush after you stuff, which is a really cool niche that it gets. It gets like Helping Hand and stuff like that. It's just a cute little option, and I like it. I like it a lot. Go ahead. You're a Herdier fanboy. Let's hear it, buddy.
Yeah. Like, you primarily pick it up for the Intimidate, of course,
Mhm.
but like its support options are still really decent. You still get Helping Hand, which a lot of things get Helping Hand, yes, but it gets more utility beyond that in the form of Charm. It gets after you shenanigans, which is always good. Yawn is one of my favorite moves in VGC period because it forces a lot of decisions and gives you a massive advantage in terms of trying to set up. No, that's the big thing. Thunderwave as well is nice, but like I like it for the Charm, the Intimidate, the Helping Hand, the Aftermath. That's what it does well.
Good.
The only thing that I really wish it has, I wish it had Fake Out, because being able to run Scrappy Fake Out is really nice. It's a great way to help keep Trick Room at bay. No, but that's kind of what it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this pick a lot. Snarl, that's a good option as well.
Yep. Forgot it has that.
Yeah, I think it's just a great little last like a low tier pick here. I think it's gonna bring a lot to the table for the price you paid. Yep. All right,
cool.
So we're just gonna go through. I also apparently screwed up there. He does not have Relicanth. He does not have Relicanth. He has our little boy Herdier, but that's okay.
So great decision to switch that out.
Yeah, but anyway, there's the Detroit Duwats. They not looking bad. I like the team. It's bulky. It does things, and yeah, cool. It's sand. It's sand.
It's a sand team with lots of bulk behind it and other scary things you also still have to build for. I think this is going to be one of the best teams in the league.
I would have to agree.
If he plays it well.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
We root for Drill, but I mean this is M-Man, so.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, Sakura Sylveons, there it is. She's got a pretty interesting team. Like I said, she is more of a singles player, and I mean, I'm not saying I'm a VGC expert by far, but I did help her out with this draft, and I think it came out pretty well. I think it came out pretty well.
I think the top 5 you're bringing every game, and then you have 5 good options on the lower end to kind of fill in where you want and provide support where you need to.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think it's just a great. No, I think it's just a great. It's a very top heavy team. But you know what? We were talking about that earlier. I don't mind top heavy. I think top heavy. The only mon I don't like is Quillfish. That's fair.
That's the one mon I think could go.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Next up, we got Bucks, and so this is a busted team. I'm not gonna lie. The only thing I could think of is if there was some way that he could get a Ninetales, because Ninetales was dropped, so it is still on the free agent board. But honestly, I don't see, because I don't want to see him drop Gudra.
No.
I definitely don't want to see him drop Persian. So, like, I don't know.
I think if you want to do that, you could probably try to do something with Aerodactyl, maybe. But, like, you also have to make up 180 points if you want to pick up a Ninetales. Which is a lot.
Yeah. Well,
So-
Ninetales was B tier, so it's 120.
so 120. Okay.
So, like,
So that could be made up, but
yeah,
I think
he can mess around with his points a little bit, potentially, but, yeah. So he can mess around with
I like
his
this team
points
a
a
lot.
little bit, but, yeah, it could be cool. So,
It's not a team that has a lot of like massive, super strong offensive threats on the surface initially, but
Mhm.
like all the mons are threatening in their own right. They work well with one another. You have a lot of ways to set up and be annoying. This is a really good team. I like it a lot. Nothing I'd really change about it.
for sure. All right, next up we got James and his like super electric and rock weak team, but you know what? It's a team, and
It's a team.
yeah, it's a team.
It's a threatening team still too. It just has
Yes,
some
for sure,
glaring
yeah.
weaknesses, but it's still super threatening.
Yeah, this is gonna be like an incredibly offensive team. Like, we're not by any means saying this team is bad. Like, I think both of us like really like more of a balanced play style. So like I think that might be just our, prejudice coming out, I
Yeah.
suppose. But but
I mean,
yeah.
you know what? I just drafted a Reggie team last time, and half my mons were weak to fighting and ground, so like, and that worked out okay. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good team. It's just gonna be, he has to keep the offensive pressure on constantly.
yeah,
All right.
good leads are going to be important.
Yeah. Okay, so we also have to keep in mind for this team, Flygon is now an Inteleon.
Mhm.
This this might
might
be
be
the
my favorite
best
one.
team in the league.
I think it is.
Yo, this team is gross. Like, dude.
Like, running around in the mall while this is actually this is a super gross team.
This is, I think, I don't really care about power rankings, but I'll be honest, this is number one by a long stretch. If we
Yeah,
did
I'll give
power
you that.
rankings, like this team just has everything. It really does. This team just has everything. Like, it's
This is going to
so
be horrible to prep
good.
for.
I know. I had to. So...
Oh, that's right. You already had to suffer.
I did. So
Lucky
yeah.
bastard, you got it out of the way early.
Thank God.
Now you
Yeah,
don't have to
I
worry
know,
about
right? But yeah, so like this team is amazing. Yeah, MTB. I'll give you a little bit of a hand clap there for that one. This is a fantastic team. So yeah. All right. Next up, we got Knight. He has the Tapu Koko team. Yeah, good team.
Yeah.
A lot of good options. He doesn't have the best like Trick Room answers, but I mean, he has Marowak and potentially Blossom that can function under Trick Room, I suppose,
Yeah.
and Pangoro.
Aegis/2.
Yeah, Aegis/2, yeah. So he has some
I think it's
slow
okay.
mons, but
Yeah.
it's very offensive, and like I think that bodes well for Knight. He's a very offensive player. He does technically have 20 points left over, so he could upgrade the Jigglypuff to an F tier if he wants. I don't know, whatever.
No.
Yeah. Play
It's
the
a good team.
Zoroark
It has
well.
a couple distinct modes that it runs really well. Zoroark kind of throws a wrench in all of your team.
I
prep, and
love
you're gonna
that,
second-guess
yes.
every decision you're going to make.
For sure.
Much more so than you would in singles. So it's going to be cool.
Very
This is
good.
another team that's going to do well.
Very good. All right, next we got Camel, who has yet another very offensive team. And I really like this. He has the Sun mode with the Torkoal and the Exeggutor. He has Heatran to boost the eruptions to nuclear levels with the help of Torkoal. He has a little bit of Trick Room. He has Zygarde. He has he has Kingler to help support with wide guard and just hitting hard on his own. Like, yeah, this is a good team. This is good. This is a pretty good team.
Mhm.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really a whole lot else to say about this one, right?
Nah, you about covered it. It's a scary team, lots of hyper offense, lots of things that work well with one another. It's what you want in a good draft team.
La Punny MVP, sure. JK41, he's got the Whimsicott team with a... he has Hail, but he doesn't have a Hail abuser, which is a little interesting. That's like the...
Aurora Veil's nice all on its own.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I think...
Vaporeon can click Blizzard, though it's not the strongest.
Yeah. If there was a way that he can get a Slush Rush Mon, I think like something like maybe even Beartick might
honestly,
be okay.
Maybe drop the... Because I think Beartick's F tier, so honestly, like, drop the... No, it wouldn't be F tier.
I think it's D tier, so like maybe drop Trapeon for Beartick.
Yeah.
Or something.
I feel like they have something planned for the Drapion, though.
Maybe, yeah.
I think so. I don't think that was... We were having a hard time figuring it out, but I think that they have a plan. So I kind of want to see what happens.
I'd like to see that, yeah. But, like...
I could definitely see Drapion be dropped.
If he can get a Slush Rusher, I think that would... that would improve an already pretty decent team, already. So, yeah, I'd like it.
If you take a Slush Rusher, I think I'd take Arctozolt, actually. Or Arctovish.
You think?
The one I think I like more.
Okay.
Like, I feel like Arctozolt is probably the better one, but you already have some electric coverage. And I think having some... I like the idea of having Vicious Rend on this team. I like it a lot.
That's a fair point, yeah, for sure. So yeah,
So,
maybe look into that.
Yeah.
All right, we got me in my team. Yeah, go ahead. Let me hear it.
It's a good draft. You have a good... This is one of the teams that I think are going to have one of the better Trick Room modes, more than a lot of other teams did. Because there wasn't a lot of... I don't think anyone truly drafted a hard Trick Room team.
Except
which
me.
Surprised me. Except for you.
So,
You have really good Trick Room. DNC is a great mon. Not any glaring, like, significant weaknesses to deal with. The only thing that I'm maybe worried about is you don't particularly have like a psychic immune, and you have the Indeedee to set the psychic to raid. So I'd be worried about opposing opponents' own psychics or expanding forces. And also being careful to actually be able to get up your own Trick Room could also be problematic. Especially Dusknoir is good, but like you also have to either pair it with Indeedee, and you really want Indeedee to be under Trick Room itself. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting team for sure.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't really like this team. This is probably one of my weakest drafts by far. But I mean, I was experimenting with a lot of things. So, and I mean, I'm not the most well-versed VGC player. So, but I mean, it's got a lot of Pokemon that I like on it. And I mean, it's my league. So, I mean, I don't think I deserve to win my own league, but
if you want to hear me out, I think I would drop the DNC for Dusclops.
You think?
It's what I actually like the most.
And then I can swap out the Dusknoir.
I think you need a great Trick Room setter. I think is what you need, because you only have 2 ways really to set Trick Room well here, and a lot of them get really messed up by Prism.
Yeah.
Like, they get messed up by a lot of things, and redirection as well. So, like, I don't know. I just like Dusclops a lot more, and I think your team could probably use it.
That's cool.
That's my thought.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Dusknoir, and you could trade Dusknoir out for another good Trick Room mon, or something that can do some priority or some fast taunt or something like that to stop in Prism.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Yeah, that's something that I can definitely look into.
You would have to do 2 trades as you have the Dusknoir.
I mean, I do have all 4 of my transactions, so I mean, I might just rock with this team for like 3 or 4 weeks and then just completely change it up. I mean, that's probably something that I'll end up looking into. Yeah. And
maybe it just works out.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
You never know.
We'll see. But yeah, it's not a terrible team. I'm not saying like this is a bad team at all, but like it's I'm not vibing it. I'm not vibing it, you know.
Hatterene would be really good.
Hatterene would be really good. I don't know. We'll see.
Like, honestly, no, just straight up drop the DNC for Hatterene. Like, that's actually, like, really dope. Indeedee Hatterene was the meta during early Galar decks.
This is
still
true.
Really good.
This is true.
There's a reason for it, so.
All right, so move on to me. We got Southside Braves. This is a pretty good team. This is a very weird team, but it's kind of all over the place. The synergies aren't really all there, but he's got freaking Incineroar. So like, who cares? That just just brings everything else together. So like, what's it matter?
Yeah, I think no, that sums it up. Like a lot of really good mods and a lot of really good picks. But I'm not sure how well they function together as a unit. So
yeah, it's got a lot of great individual mons. Just none of them, have great synergies together, which is the thing.
We also might just be missing it. We might just not
for sure. Yeah,
through all the way. So we'll have to see.
It is a little top heavy too. Yeah, that's for sure. I would love to see something that works well with Spectrier, because I love Spectrier. I think Spectrier is an amazing Pokemon. So like, if they can get something like Metagross or something like that, it can get that Bulldoze potential off. That would be really cool. But we'll see. Weakness policy Incin with Bulldoze. Okay, that's a fair point. Yeah, that's fair. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it. I do like the team. It's like we said. Yeah, weakness policy Carping. Yes.
Sure. Of course.
Yeah, I feel like this team for sure can definitely can be improved. I don't know exactly how, but maybe use your transactions, and it means far from a bad team. Far from a bad team. But it got some work, so we'll see. All right, Jesse. Holy crap. This team. So
oh god,
this team is so damn top heavy, it's insane. Like, look at those first 5 picks.
Well, it's not even top heavy. The entire team is heavy. The entire team is good.
Yeah, it is.
Not a mod. The only mod on this team I don't like is Cursula. The only reason I don't like Cursula is because he doesn't have his own Trick Room mode. But like, having Cursula all on its own, just like makes it a lot harder for your opponents to properly use Trick Room. So like, and you're the only Trick Room team really out there too. So like, this is just a good ass team.
It is a good ass team. I mean, that is the best way to put it. Like, holy crap. Yeah, Clef plus Kyurem, that is damn near unbeatable. But yeah, this is probably number 2 on my list. MTB, I think, is just a better team, but like, this is just scary. This is very scary. So I'm not looking forward to prepping this one. I don't know if I actually play him or not, but
I feel like this is the type of team that like you could reasonably like go on to. I feel like this is the reason you could reasonably hop on the battle tower or even on the like just the normal VGC ladder and like, okay, this doesn't surprise me. I can see why all these mons are here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Good news though to everybody, he burned all of his transactions to make this team. So this is going to be the team for the entire season. At least there's that.
It was worth it.
It was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. Yes. Yeah, cool team. All right, you are the last, and yeah, I like this team a lot. I like this team a lot. It's definitely up there. I'd put this probably in the top, 5 in the league. It's got weather. It's got fake out support. It's got some great prankster users. You got the Kabalion plus Dragapult combo that you can do. You just have like a lot of really like different leads. That's the thing that I love about this. Like, there is so many different lead options that you have. It's going to be very hard to prep for this. And I know already because I have helped Knight prep for your week 1. And, like, this was really hard. This was really hard. So, yeah.
It's a very interesting... It's an interesting team. There are things I like about it. things I don't like about it. I'm still like
The
on
Buzzwole
fence
is
about
freaking
something,
weird.
but the Buzzwole
Yeah.
is weird. I liked it when I first picked it up. I still don't think I like it. You might see me make a transaction tomorrow and mess around with something else. I wish I had more true weather abusers, or things that at least function better in rain. But just having that rain mode all on its own and like everything else just functions together well as well.
Yeah.
Lots of lead options and lots of versatility with the team. So, yeah, I like it. I'm actually like relatively happy with this draft. So I didn't think I was gonna be. So yeah.
So, yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, I think like the only thing was maybe we can theory craft something we could swap out for the Buzzwole, but I mean, yeah,
I'm
maybe
sure it's a
rock
C-tier
with it.
mon. There's gotta be something.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, that is the largest tier, so there's gotta be something in there that we can pick her out. So, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So, all right, and then so there it is. 3.5 almost hours later. Yo, Nick, you are a legend
That is
for
so much homework I have
sticking.
to do.
Oh my god, you are a legend, though. You are an absolute legend for sticking with me here.
This is fun.
And yo, shout outs to everybody in the chat.
I was about to say, let's talk about some people in the chat who have been here for 3.5 hours.
I know,
as
awesome.
well.
You guys are amazing. If you missed it, it will be on YouTube. If you missed any portion of this, it'll be on YouTube probably tomorrow, along with my draft analysis. Those of you that are in the league, feel free, put out your draft analysis tonight, tomorrow, Monday, whatever you want to do. I know we have 3 games left, I think, for this week.
Yep.
So if you guys can, get those games in. We really want to try to run this as smoothly as we can, and you guys are already doing great about that, and I'm very happy with how things are running so far. So, but anyway, that is pretty much going to be it for today. Nick, do you have any final closing words?
Good luck. Just good luck.
There you go.
With some of these teams, we're all gonna need it.
For sure. Yeah. Especially Jesse's and
gonna be a fun
MTBs. Holy crap. So
yeah.
yeah. But all right, for sure. Thank you guys all for stopping by. Thanks to Nick for sticking around for this, and thanks to me for freaking somehow talking for 3.5 hours straight about Pokemon. So yeah. All right. Anyway.
All right.
For the YouTube, like, comment, sub. I love you all. Deuces.